few data points just coming in here to start things off on a Thursday. May housing starts popping up here first, 1.27 million versus 1.37 million expected there. We're also getting initial jobless claims data on a week-over-week basis, 238,000 versus 239. Can't see it there, but 239 underneath the pop-up. Expected there. Continuing claims, 1.828 million versus 1.822 million, so slightly, very, very slightly higher than expected. Philly Fed business conditions and employment conditions as well, both to the downside there. So Philly Fed prices paid index 22.5 versus 18.7 last time, so a little bit higher than expected. The biggest morning at 8:30 anyways for data of the week coming in there. Again, initial jobless claims a little bit higher on a week-over-week basis, but forecast 239, so we come out a little bit lower on that end, 238, 238,000, but consensus 235, so it is ticking to the upside ever so slightly. Building permits, again, for May, negative 3.8% versus 2% expectations. It's Nvidia's world. We all just live in it at this point. 3.8% here. It's added more than 100 billion in market cap in the pre-market alone here this morning, and has officially become, the most expensive and most valuable company here for North America across the board. So we'll touch on Nvidia coming up here. A few AI-related headlines to get into, to say the least. Tesla downside ever so slightly. Initially this morning, EU sales on a month-over-month basis, year-over-year for May, downside coming out of Europe. We have Adele and SMCI, not Adele, the singer, but Adele and SMCI. Headline involving XAI. They're going to provide Elon and XAI some server racks. Sharif is under the weather this morning. Adara is sitting beside me. Good morning.
Good morning.
How was your day off?
My day was all right. It was very hot and humid outside, so not great to be outside, but got some stuff done. Slept a little bit. What about you? How was your day off?
Same. Quiet. It was nice. Kind of strange and random to have a Wednesday off in the middle of the week, but hey, we'll take it. It was a very loud overnight period here last night with thunderstorms and crazy weather expected again. So hopefully we'll get rid of some of this humidity over the next couple of days. But we are expecting things to liven up a little bit here once again, guys, for semiconductors. I'm just seeing Palantir, huge mover here in the pre-market as well, both to the upside in a big way.
All right. Yes, sir. It's definitely, make sure I'm not muted. There you go. I hadn't forgotten to that. But yeah, it's just Nvidia's world and we're all living in it. But really, as we were just looking at the charts here, Sean, welcome to everybody. It's also the last 3 days Dell's world and everybody's living in it, or just chip world and everybody's living in it. So it's the bulls are out in full force. This was kind of on the bears when I sat back down, but I just feel like the way things are going, you got to have some bull representation on the desk. Nvidia continues to churn. It's already broken the 140 level. We'll talk about that. The only thing that stinks is the fact that there's a couple of chip names that aren't going. And obviously we talked about AMD the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, I should say. And I think that's just going to have to stay in the penalty box for me. It's funny because I tweeted out, like, the second I had hurt my Achilles, I was like, yeah, my Achilles is about as strong as AMD's chart. And I have a firm up, and we'll get to that one. I actually have an idea for a firm breakout. But when thing looks like this and rest are going higher, I think it's so important in this market, especially today, whenever, identify the strength and weakness. Because if you just assume all the chip names are going up, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Sometimes you have half the group going up, half the group going down. That's what we're here to identify. That's what it's all about here. And the best part is there's opportunities everywhere. There's probably half a dozen names just AI related that I think you could trade today. We don't even talk that much about SMCI there, Sean.
No, we never really talk about SMCI. I've actually written down now Dell on this sticky note here today. We're already into Nvidia. I just want to see what happens around 140. We'll start to trade it right now immediately. Watch out for 140. I'm looking for a 138 break as well. Back down in. If it does break 138, then we're going to get out of that one back down into the 200 period moving average. So right now, NASDAQ kind of making a move down. We did get those numbers, and so we realize that when you're trading in the pre-market, it is a risky venture. So, but yeah, welcome back. I hope everyone had a great holiday. It was interesting to have one in the middle of the week, but that was fun, needless to say. It was nice to sort of walk around and, all the shops are open around here, and fun times with the wife. It was you know, great opportunity to walk the kids to school, do stuff you don't normally do. So yeah, good day here, up 3 and a bit right now. We'll see if we can rock and roll.
Sure.
That's right.
Oh.
Thank you, Ramin. Very, very professional. You just want to touch the shirt. You can touch it again if you want.
No,
there you go. Yeah, that's okay.
Is hitting here.
Oh, now you want to undo the buttons. Okay. I mean, whatever.
Button.
Wow. Okay, this is starting off real nice here today. Things looking up over here. But okay, so needless to say, let's just wait to see what winds up happening here today. Obviously, I've got Tesla on my mind as well. We have Dell. I wrote down the #1 name on here is the biggest and the baddest, of course, is Palantir. So let's see if that one wants to keep going. We could have punched long into this name as well. 2640, 2630, Palantir trying to go and making new day highs right now as we speak. Despite the market doing this, Palantir do this. So we'll wait, but so far so good. $26.50, new 52-week high coming maybe for Palantir. Will it happen today? 27.50, an area that if you're long, you definitely want to look out for that. 27.50 new high for Palantir. 52 weeks could come into play here today. So yeah, look, good day ahead. Only 2 more days this week. I kind of like having a half day or, you know, in the middle of the week, the hump day off. What was a good one? Oh, by the way, the Blue Jays got swept again, man. I don't know if it was again or not, but that was a little disappointing. 4 for 32 runners in scoring position.
Well, the good news is
trade deadline's coming.
They're not. The Blue Jays are not very good, but I'm not going to get a chance to watch them anymore because I won't be doing the flight up and down our seats.
Oh, right.
It's like I told my wife. I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm not going to be going to any games. You can probably just take Aaron in the days that you guys want to go. She's like, why can't you go? I'm like, do you really think I'm hopping up and down? Like, if we're in like the 7th row and it's a lot of stairs.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be that kind of a hero. Like, if it was the playoffs, I'm hardcore. Like, I would hop.
Well,
my
of
way
course,
around.
man. I mean, you could have
No
like
problem.
a broken leg and you're still going to that.
I'm telling you right now, the frustrating thing is not being able to put any weight on this piece of garbage. Like, that's what sucks. It's like, yeah, if I could just like stand at times. So many times I just want to stand. Standing is it's overrated. But the Jays stink. The good news is, there's always next year for them, but I'm giving up hope. Maybe they can add some young talent if they do actually sell somebody. We just called up our top prospect, though. So
he's a pitcher, right? Isn't he?
No, well, okay, our top position prospect, because our shortstop just got hurt, Bo just went to the IL, and we called up our top position player prospect. So that's at least something to watch. You know, watch those youthful players. You never know what could come about. Maybe you'll take advantage of it and something crazy will happen. And then the Blue Jays can make a comeback the way that Dell did the last couple of days. We were just saying this about like comebacks. If a stock is good and it bounces and it goes down on earnings and it holds a 50 period, like look at it just consolidate, right? Like it holds the trend at the 50. You get that calm down after earnings and then you get the breakout and then 2 days, just straight shots to the upside, a little bit of a continuation play today. There's just no way not to be thinking long on a stock like this. The gap is still to be filled. So it's not a shiny new thing, but in the last couple of days, it's shown you that it's got some power behind it. Sometimes these big dips on earnings are really good opportunities when the market shows you a bottom. And the market, you didn't have to guess whether Dell had found support. You could just simply observe it. The rounded bottom, the higher low that held for a week, and then the breakout of that range. And then once it breaks out the range, just look for longs. I'll be looking for a dip buy here, whether it's yesterday's 153 tops or maybe this 150 level where it held and closed. But only looking long on Dell today.
Just noticing interest rates, guys, back to the upside here this morning. We did have a couple of decisions over in Europe today. Bank of England holding its key overnight rate at 5.25, and it is expected they're still going to come up with half a point worth of interest rate cuts before the end of the year. So the 30-year, the 10-year, 2-year even all higher on the day. This is actually the US dollar right now on a daily chart. So a big green candle forming 105.50 once again. We're basically back to the top end of the range of late anyways for the dollar, putting a little bit of pressure back on equities as well. The other one that was in Europe this morning, the Swiss bank did actually cut rates for the second straight meeting. So noteworthy as far as they are concerned. We had some earnings to discuss That's Lennar downside in a pretty big way. Way back on, feels like way back on Tuesday, we were talking about Lennar and KBH is the other one as well, both with earnings, both downside a little bit here.
Yeah, Lennar's earnings are interesting. They did actually increase the amount of homes delivered during the quarter, but the average price of home delivered did fall to 426,000 compared to 449,000 a year ago. They also did have a slightly weaker than expected forecast for amount of homes delivered for the next quarter, so not the strongest report here, despite that increase in home delivery.
Yeah, the interest rate story continuing to affect home builders as well as insurance-related companies as well, but I think a lot of people sitting on the sidelines for the time being. Hopefully we'll start to get some movement in the right direction here, guys.
Yeah, I'd say that's a definite maybe. And we talk about rounded tops looking good. Well, Lennar is maybe not that. And whether it's flat bottom breaks, I don't know. It's definitely finding some support or finding its way back into some support with a couple of notable spikes in a double top here at 170. The next step would be, can it actually bounce off this 145 in the 200 period? Not looking the best, but it could be an opportunity. The one that was on my, this is not necessarily adjacent, but the similar looking chart that was on my radar that was rounding down was actually target for the last couple of weeks. And it's seemingly catching a bit of a bid. And what downtrending stocks are going to do this, we just talked about that with Dell, but this is one that's on my radar because it just held the 140. It's holding the 200 period moving average in a downward trend. If it loses this, I'm just looking for acceleration. So it's been on the radar for a couple of days. If it breaks the 140 level, I would be looking for a flat bottom break there. Clearly, it's found a little bit of support. Whether it's the home builders, whether it's some of the retailers, maybe not all of them, you are seeing some pressure on the economy. I read something today saying, hey, Canada's already in a real estate recession, which means a lot here. A little better off there in the US for everyone that's watching, but you've got to look for stocks playing the trend. So when I see something like Target, which we've been monitoring, if it loses support, I think you probably get a couple of good days worth of shorts. So it's about 142.5 now. Maybe it doesn't happen today, but I think we're still in the pocket for this level to get tested.
You just said something there. I want to talk a little bit about some of these things here because you mentioned Canada, and I was just looking. I feel like there might be an opportunity here to start to pick up some of these banks in Canada. I mean, I got to still figure out this interest rate story as we've already been the first nation to start to cut. We've already cut already. Look at TD Bank to the downside, breaking through levels. I mean, I'm going to call out Bank of Nova Scotia as well in a minute. That's at its bottoms. This actually broke through. Another major bank here, BNS in Canada, right back at support. I apologize how long sometimes this will take to load. So you can see here up from 52 down to $46 right now, looking a little bit more healthy. I like TD Bank for the exposure in the U.S., but BNS exposure South America. Royal Bank, though, if there's going to be one to be proud about if you're a shareholder, which I'm not of Royal Bank, this name continues. Well, actually, it's fallen out. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Last time I looked at it, was all the way up here. This is falling back in as well. I think there's going to be some good opportunities in some of the Canadian banks while you look at over here, I guess, down south. It's funny to say like down south, like, most of our viewers are going to be U.S., but J.P. Morgan right now and some of these U.S. banks still try to remain a little higher up there. So, yeah, you're probably right. A little bit of a warning shot fired into Canada there with the banks trying to get a little lower. I was just looking at AMD. We're going to look at many names here today. You know what I thought today was? I thought today for some reason, I was like, today's Monday. So I was looking over there. I was like, where's Michael Noss? That guy's never not here.
Oh, yeah.
And no, it's not a Michael Noss Monday. It's a Thursday. It's not even close to Monday. All right, so
depends on your perspective, right?
I guess so. It felt like yesterday we had a baseball game last night and everything, and it was just like felt like kind of a weekend to me, to be honest with you. But okay, so just looking back at AMD, starting to trend down a little bit as we're still stuck in Nvidia. Nvidia still upside 3.5%. And we always talk about them not being built the same, which is why I talked about the Canadian versus U.S. banks. But here comes AMD looking to go a little bit lower. Also, eye on crypto. Crypto is bouncing a little bit back to 66,000 right now in 35 after getting into the 64-ish area for BTC. So we'll look at more of that today as well. So yeah, ears to the ground on all of this, man. People in the chat there, 1320 Wolf, AMD for long term. Yeah, I mean, I like all the chip names. I would just say instead of trying to pick winners, and you know what I was actually thinking about doing? I didn't do anything yet like this, but that Nvidia chart, that Broadcom chart, I mean, sure, it looks very similar to SMH, and I just think that you get a lot of love in Broadcom and Nvidia just by holding SMH. And I just wonder that if you look at a stock that moves something like this, oh, that's right, our daily won't be the greatest for Nvidia because of the split. Let me just pull this down. Not financial advice, but maybe something that I may do. Just taking advantage of this name being from $75 back in April 19th. April 19th, May 19th, June 19th. You're 2 months away from this thing just doubling up. Like this was $75. I mean, do we think we're getting to 150, 140? I mean, at some point here, there's going to be a retracement and it'll be a lot more violent. Although if you're in the SMH, fine, it will retrace back down, but at least you're getting some coverage with some other names in case it's just the big dogs that lead us down. And if the big dogs continue to bark as well, then you're gonna have some nice upside movement. So I just wonder at some point, and I know Neil's talked about this before, you know, you sell Apple, you put it into the Qs. You sell, you know, maybe you sell JP Morgan, you could put it into the SPY or Berkshire or something like that. So your money is still in the market and still able to enjoy upside moves unless you're thinking about sitting in cash. I don't know if cash is king yet or not, especially with interest rates coming down. Probably want your money in the market. Just Nvidia continues to climb higher. So just something I'm thinking about there with SMH.
All right, we were talking a little bit about some AI movement to be aware of once again today. TEM, go back 3 days, was a new addition to the NASDAQ on an IPO. I was just reading a little bit about this. This thing's been straight down ever since, including on Tuesday, last day of trade. I guess it was Friday. We kicked things off. $30 coming into play here now. So this is actually not a small company. If you remember, it's AI based. It's in the medical space. It's backed by SoftBank. I mean, it's 165 million share float, of which they came to market with 11 million. So another one of these, let's put a little chunk public and see what happens before we add more to it.
Yeah, they also have a bit of a financial relationship with Google here as well that goes back 4 years now, with Tempest issuing a convertible promissory note to Google worth $330 million as part of this Google Cloud agreement. So GOGL also tied in to this company. It was also the co-founder of this company was also involved in Groupon. So bit of history there. Yeah, TEM, interesting stuff for sure.
Yeah, I mean, trying to gap higher here this morning. There's not a lot of volume behind this, but we are well below the IPO price, guys, here on day 4 for TEM.
IPO time.
Yeah, it's when you see something like this, there's good IPOs, there's bad ones. You needed to find a level on the way back, and some of them do. Kava is a good example. ARM was a great example of one. I don't know if this is going to be the case here for Tempest, but you've seen the selling that's come into this the last couple of days. I did have like an open trade on this when it opened up on Friday. It was a pretty solid trade in terms of it just immediately bouncing, and then if you just found a long in front of that initial buy, you're good. After that, it's just been sell breakdown at 41.5, once, twice, 3 times. But have a look at where these levels are failing. So 2 days ago, it failed here at about 38.5. It tries to come into that same level early on, well, I'm going to want to say yesterday. Just know that if I say yesterday, you know I mean Tuesday. So on Tuesday, it tries to go right back into that big fail level at 38 and dumps. When I look at this here, there's probably 2 places. If you're looking trend continuation, you have this afternoon level from Tuesday at $32, and then you have this previous low area. I'd call it 34.5, 35. Those are the 2 places. If you're paying for locates and you want to join the trend, that's where I'd be looking. It's got to be a previous resistance level. You've seen it 2 days in a row just fall. I wouldn't be trying to catch a bid in TEM at all. When you don't know much about the company, when you're trading, you should really just be concerned with the patterns in the technicals. So that's the only thing I'm looking at for TEM until once you get an earnings report out on these guys, or maybe some reaction on the bid where it can hold a bid for a couple of days, trends down. So that usually means short pops and find yourself a good level. The 32 is obvious. 34, 35 area makes some sense as well. Previous support levels into resistance. But you won't catch me on the bit of this one.
All right, I was just writing out some notes. All right, so Neil brought up Kava. I think it's a great opportunity to trade this name again, breaking out through highs. I mean, we were right here on earnings when it came back into 70s, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is probably a great little buy opportunity. And now you're starting to take out highs again. So for me, I'm glad that Neil brought this up. It looks like we could take out 97 and just keep on going here on Kava. So another name without too many catalysts yet today, but earnings well bought back up. 50 period keeps getting absorbed. We like Kava here, just continuing to go to the upside. Up and away. Yesterday, the wife and I, we hadn't had Chipotle in about 1 million years, and we were walking around. We went to some nice Italian cafe, got a little cannoli, got a little espresso, got some fresh pasta for the night, got some pistachio croissants for the kids. They absolutely love those. But we went into Chipotle, and another name here that's absolutely just heated up heading into a split. So CMG continues to work as well as Chipotle and Kava, just, absolutely unbelievable stories in sort of that fast food area. So good look on both of those names. If we're going to Adara, we can go now. All right, Adara.
Talk about some of these upgrades and downgrades, starting with Skyworks on the upgrade side, getting this nod from B. Riley Securities. TransUnion getting an upgrade from Wedbush. Samsara, this is IoT. They reported fairly recently within the last few weeks. They're getting this upgrade here from B of A Securities. And last but not least, JMP Securities upgrading Life 360. Downgrade side is where things get pretty interesting here. Starting right away with Boeing affiliate Spirit Aerosystems getting a downgrade from the benchmark company. Not one, but two solar downgrades here coming from JP Morgan Chase. SolarEdge and Enphase, both of them getting hit down about 6% right now. So keep an eye on SEDG and ENPH here for sure. Last downgrade on the list is going to be Lennar here. Again, after those earnings, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, market not reacting too positively to this. Evercore ISI downgrading them here with a $227 price target, guys.
Yeah, so about SolarEdge, it hasn't been good for them. There's no sugarcoating this chart when you look at it. Hey, what up? Everybody's in the blue today.
Yeah, because of Italy.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
This one was clean. I wasn't in the position to be fussy. But you're not wearing the blue because of Italy. Okay, good.
No, he doesn't. Euro Cup is.
Do you have a team? Do you have a team for the Euro Cup? You don't care?
See?
Oh?
Told you.
Yeah. Okay. No, I mean, I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
See if
I
you
know
got something.
it wasn't a big deal for this guy. We have the Stanley Cup, Florida versus Edmonton. That was really nice. That was 3-0, now 3-2. That's starting to get super spicy.
See, at least that happens in the NHL, right? Like, no, I mean in the NBA, we were just talking about it. Like in the NBA, forget it. It's pretty much over if you get up 3-0. Like it's never really happened before.
Never really happened.
Someday it'll be true. In a final, like it'll happen in a series. It's never happened in a final. Someday it's going to, but it's a little bit ridiculous. These solar names are getting absolutely destroyed, by the way. SolarEdge getting tanked. We buying Tesla yet?
Not yet.
We buying Rivian yet?
You've been buying Rivian for a while, man. This guy's loving Rivian.
I just want to make sure he's still okay with Rivian. It's still holding that $10 level. So that part is at least good. It's not in any imminent danger yet.
Coffee?
100 million%. I'm not going to lie. I cannot carry anything. So just a little bit.
I don't know.
Usually
a little bit what?
I mean, it's a coffee machine, so you hit a button, it gives the same amount every single time. I'm very confused by that. It's not like you can do like 1 or 2. No, you don't pull your cup away as it's pouring out. That wastes coffee.
I adjust.
That wastes coffee if you do that. You can adjust it how much you want it to give. You can adjust it like a little bit more, a little bit less, but Randy always just gives us a full cup anyways.
I mean, right here, guys. There's only one name. Honestly, I'm tired of all this. We'll talk more and more about all these different names, but it's like you guys saw what we did on Friday, right? I mean, we're just about. Let me close this here and just save this as we get our sticky note ready to go. But on Friday, it was really, really simple for Nvidia, and we're going to go over all this in just a couple minutes. But let's just be perfectly simple with what we did here on Friday. Look at this: long early, long on that break, long again on a 134 break, long again on a 50-period 134 retest. So long, 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 all the way up. So we had 4 different longs as this stock went up $6 into the close. And we still had a piece on when we were holding this. So for right now, this is why I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible. We're long. We're long Nvidia. We punched long as soon as the show started. It's only in the money 25 cents there as it touched 141. Let's see if it breaks 141. I don't even have any offers out. So right now, I like this stock. We'll see if it continues to go higher. Nvidia for me is going to be the big play again here today. Let's just see if we can find our way into it. We're in now. Maybe we should get a piece out at 141, but so far so good here for NVDA. I know people are talking about ACB a little bit on there. I saw that. I don't know. It didn't come up on my scanner. Is ACB even moving here? Aurora Cannabis. So I know it's not $6. I think it's reverse split a bunch of times. ACB right now up. Is it 4% or was that Nvidia? Yeah, up 4% right now. So yeah, so nice little move up there for Aurora, but it's got to get like $7, $8, $9 before we get excited about this one. Again, a name that was 50 cents reverse split all the way up. It's actually done quite well since that reverse split, holding some levels here. So 5.50 for ACB. If you're going to look at it, that's a level of concern for me.
Just bring a couple things here. One more to keep on your watch list today, or maybe in your back pocket. DJT, not really doing a lot, not a lot of volume here, but big gap downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of 12 days red on the daily chart. We're gapping down to $28 here. It looks like warrants are eligible at this point as of this morning. So potentially $247 million raise here for DJT. So this is going through now some significant levels if you zoom out for DJT.
It definitely running into some resistance as well on the chart around that 45 level. I was just reading here, apparently the stock has dropped 39% since that verdict came through on May 30th. So bit of a bad look here, not just on a chart basis, but just on a fundamental basis here as well. From the looks of it, down about 39% for DJT in less than a month.
Yeah, one that could be active here again, if you're wondering. SEC decision came through on the equity raise, so it looks like warrants are eligible up to $247 million potentially here on a raise, guys, for DJT.
Yeah, it's. Oh, thank you very much, Randy. There we go, little reload action.
Thank you, Randy.
So if you bought DJT off the lows, you get a chance to reload today. If you're interested, as a long term, I wouldn't touch it. I'm gonna let that cool for a bit. In the long term, to me, I wouldn't touch it. But if it opens here, DJT is gonna be down 10%, and if it tags 22, then you get that April low, which is its bottom since becoming DJT. That's your bottom. That 22 level, it's a stone's throw away. So you're already going to be SSR. You're in a zone where there's the only significant bounce that it's ever had, really, came at this price. So I think if you're going to trade it, I'd be waiting for something a little closer to that and look for bounce. If it bounces and shows any strength off that, then yeah, you just look for a reversal into the long. But as far as trading it, like shorting pops and all that good stuff, I think you let that one settle down. And if it's still doing its trend down, like it has been, you can find your way into this one after, say, 10 o'clock. So either it drops like $5 or something, or you come back to this at like 10. If it's trending and looking weak, you can find your way into shorts. If it does end up 10% down, you're going to have to short pops anyways. But there's so many like AI chip-related names today that are at the front of the radar, as we already talked about with Nvidia. Dell is going to be in play today, no question about it. Still, AMD, I think, is tradable almost every day because it's been giving you short opportunities. We haven't even talked about Apple or Tesla, which we will. And DJT doesn't always do the most volume. Good volume pre-market, though, right now, which is why it should at least be on a watch list.
DJT, yeah. Look, as far as some of those names are going, I mean, DJT's $28, man. Like when this thing was $50, $60, you kind of had the feeling where this one was going to go. So I don't know. People want to continue to support it. That's fine by me. But for me, I'm just going to look, and we are going to talk more about GameStop here today because it's down 3%. But for me, if you're going to look at a name where you're going to try to put some risk into something that could fly at some point, I would think it would be GameStop back down here at $23. So it's on the sticky note. It's going to be on in a couple seconds. I like GameStop down here. I like even the chance to trade something that might be a little bit more volatile in Coinbase up to that 242, 243 area again for Coinbase. That was the high. We had marked this down on I was going to say Friday, but Tuesday, where we had looked at 242 to the downside for Coinbase, looking to hold that level. So, yeah, I'm just thinking there's different names for me. DJT is not necessarily going to be one of them. A bigger name, though, and we looked at this on Tuesday, Reddit. I mean, Reddit is one of those names again here that's right at that $60 mark. So again, just more interesting names where I think there's going to be better volume, but same opportunity to make some coins. So I like Reddit here at $60 as well today with the market trying to hold up. We can see if that holds its bid, but so many things to trade. I just think it's very important that you stay in your lane. We already looked at some weed names, looked at some Canadian banks. Neil just talked about AI is going to be hot. SMCI, Dell, Nvidia, AMD, Apple. We haven't even talked about Apple yet. I mean, Apple's a beast. Meta's we crushed. One of our best trades on Friday. Last time we traded was Meta breaking through $5 bills, so this is another one that's actionable again here today with Meta. We got a 495 fill on that 501. We were short 501, out 495. Like, we got the bottom there. That's crazy. If we can come back into these levels, there's more trades there. So again, just pick sort of the poison that you're interested in, and just don't take too much of it. And I think it will work out today. Could be a little bit of an interesting open. Remember, it's super hot right now across the northeast of North America. It's still vacation. It's a shortened week. It's a Thursday, heading into what's going to be a very well-holidayed Friday, I would assume, as well. So, you got to stay with names that are printing with some catalysts. So I'm glad Brendan brought up DJT there.
All right, let's get into everything else we need to know here as we head towards the open. If you haven't done so, as always, very easy. Go to the website, tradertv.live. Wait for that pop-up to appear. Enter your email address, and that is it. Comes right to your inbox every single day, has everything you need to know on it in the pre-market from us. 3.5% right now. It was a little bit higher earlier on, but trying to get back to session highs for Nvidia right now. Officially the most valuable company.
What a look for NVDA. Even going through the watch list today, a lot of these catalysts that we have coming up, which we're going to talk about, including Dell. There are some mentions here of Nvidia as well with regards to that XAI, right? So Nvidia is really embedded within all of these AI-related stories and catalysts. Great look for Jensen Huang and his crew over there, with that stock apparently already gaining $100 billion in the pre-market today alone. So yeah, great look for NVDA, very quickly usurping Microsoft and Apple here.
Yeah, a lot of people putting just absolutely crazy goals or price targets on this from a market cap standpoint, talking 5 trillion. I saw yesterday, I was reading a couple of things. So this move just keeps going, guys, for Nvidia.
You can say that again. I make a joke about it being the Energizer Bunny, but I feel like that dates us a little bit. But you know what isn't dated? The Freedom and Wealth podcast, which is brand new. And episode 3 was fantastic. I'm assuming, I guess, are you taping?
We did. We did it already.
You did it already, okay.
Yeah,
I was going to say because it was a holiday, so you guys would have done it already. So episode 4 is going to come out on Saturday. You can check that out, or check all of the old ones out as well. Make sure you're doing that on a regular basis. So just scan that QR code. And one of the things that I think is obvious to say, but you say it all the time, and I think we should, is invest in good companies. I think the way to extend that to trading is to buy stocks that are trending up. And we'll say this all the time, the trend is your friend till the end, and when it eventually does bend. But until something changes, there's been, like, even the down day the last week that Nvidia had, right? Like, if you go back to Monday, you still had a dip right into prior day support and a bounce off that level. So the 130 level, it dipped at the open into 130, which was the prior day support. So even on a down day, it just goes into the more obvious level, I would say, and bounces once and then holds that. I don't want to say yesterday, it's Tuesday. So last trading day, holds above that 130. So when I see this, I'm thinking pre-market. I'm thinking the pre-market 139 support's already come in. Even if it tries to fill the gap, I think you're just buying again at the 136. The first long for me will be at 140, and then the 139 level. I just want to buy the obvious dips and look to be in that curl. And sometimes it might take a while for it to make that bottom off the open. This bottom came in at 10.15, so I think you got to be willing to be nimble. be willing to take it out, jump in if it can't hold 140, get out, jump in 139 if it can't hold that bottom, get out. It's just a matter of looking for the long, as far as I'm concerned, until that entire notion stops working, and only because it's not going to be on the list. We don't have AMD on the watch list or the rundown, but I think we all know what's been good and what hasn't been good. Riding the 50 period in the wrong way in a downward trend is AMD. So if it sees this 50 period, that's $159. Maybe there's some strength to get in there, but when I see a trend like that, you want to be shorting those pops. So the 159 is going to stand out as the first level to look for a short. Even 160 and 161. Unless this is through $162, I'm going to be looking for places to curl with the trend, even if it is up 1%. That doesn't matter. If you like the chip names long, there's plenty of other things to play.
So we talked about this on the market recap show, and you should go see this, Neil, if you can. I think you can. Keep that leg up. Just get one of those aisle seats. But we went with the whole family. My son didn't want to be in the picture, it's inside out too. So, but he had a great time, and we had a great time as well. We went to go see Inside Out 2 on Tuesday night, and honestly, it's a fantastic movie.
I heard it in huge numbers.
It's great. It's absolutely great, and
we just did
Disney stock not so great.
We just did the first one.
Oh,
on Friday for movie
I didn't
night.
realize it was like 9. It's 9 years old, 8 or 9 years old.
It's
so it was
super old.
actually.
My daughter she saw the trailer for it. The second one was like, well, I have to watch the first one. So like, we can do that for movie night on Friday.
Right.
Which is I'm glad you brought it up, because that is definitely an activity that I can still do. So I know for sure we will be watching that one. Can't do a heck of a lot, but sitting in the theater, no troubles whatsoever. That I can definitely handle. But obviously.
No, I completely enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, we hadn't been. Well, I mean, like I said, I still am part of that Cine Club, so I get like a ticket a month. But then I look down, and I have 10 tickets in my account, so I got to start.
You got to use those.
I got to start using those up. It's $10 a month. Thing is, like when you go to the concessions, you save 20% every time. So it's like if we buy popcorn and whatever, it's like $3, or you save $3 or $4 every single time you go there.
Isn't
at
the
least.
candy like $8?
That's what I'm saying. Like it's like $40 or something for a family of 4, if not more, way more than that. What the hell am I even talking about? Anyways, Disney right here. I just want to bring that up because I actually left the movie thinking, because you know what else they have coming out too? Moana 2 is coming out. I think The Rock, it looks like he's in that one again. So I like Despicable Me, I think is coming out. Despicable Me 4 is coming. I think that's Pixar, right?
Yep.
So Disney is going to have something to say about some of this. And I don't know. If movies are back a little bit in the box office, I could see Disney trying to hold some of these levels. But again, that movie was out last week, so I know it's putting up big numbers, but the stock really isn't reflecting any of that, and I don't know if it will. But it's nice to see that that's coming back. And I just want to say, I think Disney down here is an opportunity. I know we're talking about Nvidia, but I think Disney's an opportunity in and around $100. Look, Nvidia is my #1 trade of the day here on the sticky note. I know we're running out a little bit of time. We've already talked about this a couple times here, but there's Nvidia. 140 is where we're long now. We'll play dip buys into that, but then I think 138 would be a great area for dips. And then if it gets real violent, then you kind of got to assess it from there. Tuesday wasn't that scary. I mean, we went down a couple bucks and then made the move back up. You could see here, this was a little bit worse on Monday, where we opened up around 134 and went all the way down to 129. So we do know that there is an opportunity for this thing to break. So if it breaks 138, that was sort of the level that I wanted to talk about, the 200 period moving average. So we'll wait to see if you get back into 136.50. But if you break 138, that might be it for me until we reassess what's going to happen with Nvidia. So I'm a buyer. I'm a buyer right now on these dips. I'm a buyer into the open. But 138, if we drop that, then we're dropping this trade and we'll reassess it after, because when this name falls, it's going to fall. I just don't see the catalyst today.
To red to the tune of about 0.4% right now. So did gap up ever so slightly. There is a note on EU sales on a month-over-month basis, downside ever so slightly. 185, though, was that sticking point. Last day of trade going into the close. This note just talking about the expansion of the Texas Gigafactory, going to house 50,000 of NVIDIA's GPUs. And in this, they actually talk a little bit about ventilation being a bit of a problem, or they're still trying to figure out how they're going to get enough ventilation to cool the things, because you said 50,000 NVIDIA GPUs are nothing without the right amount of ventilation to run them. If you remember earlier in the year, Elon said, and specifically for AI purposes, they're going to spend $3 to $4 billion on AI-related infrastructure, manufacturing, and this is one of those facilities.
Another story with some NVIDIA-related implications here. The Tesla sales themselves, what I'm seeing here is 34.2% drop in May sales in the EU. But to be fair, EU sales overall were dropping for May with regards to EVs. There was the announcement of that tariff for up to 38.1% on China-made EVs starting in July. With that in mind, Tesla, after the fact, said it's expecting to increase the price of its China-made Model 3 when these tariffs come into effect. So this is necessarily not a bad catalyst for Tesla with regards to the EU, and of course anything with AI is pretty well received by the markets. Yeah,
if you zoom out a little bit, past few days anyways, we're basically back to the middle of the range. We did have that negative day on Tuesday, guys, but held the support from mid last week.
Yeah, I mean, if it gets to the 50 period, that's an obvious long, but we're not getting to that today, so I think you can throw that out the window. Unfortunately for Tesla, you know, it's been stuck. It's stuck in a range. Let's be real about it for a second. The good news is when it's down in the low 170s, it's clearly been a long, no question about it. It's trying to put in some higher lows here. I think it'll be a decent attempt, this 182 and the 180 levels. So I don't think, like with this stock, it hasn't been that complicated in terms of what the key prices have been. It's just, do you have the patience enough to wait for it? Because the 180 level, resistance into a monster breakout, and then the 82 level, which was like support, and then a breakdown of that support. It broke out from that level, it bounced off that level. So it's just, it's 182, it's 180, and don't try, like, if it bounces off the level, it bounces. But when it loses one of these levels, let it trade to the next one. It's as simple as that. We definitely learned that lesson a couple of days ago. It was on Friday, actually. So last week, if it cannot hold 182, then you've got to wait for it to trade off of the next level at that 180. That's all I'm going to do with Tesla. This is not, you know, like multiple take every single bounce that looks good because Nvidia is super strong. I think this is a case where you just have to, 184 is no good. 183 to me, no good. Has to be holding 82. If that can't hold, then it's got to be the 180. If that can't hold, then you have maybe a chance at 177. But Tesla's in the penalty box. Still, I'd like to see it. I'm more confident in this. When it's breaking 190, when it's testing 200, I think then you'll have more explosive upside. Until then, you really just got to pick your spots and pick your levels. And the last week or so has told you 80 and 82 are the places to be.
Yeah, Tesla right now, same kind of thing. It's just bouncing around. It's not doing too much at these levels. We'll have to wait. I mean, it either gets up to this 188 and we'll talk about it, or back into, I was going to say 180. I mean, that's nice. That's where the 200 period is. It sort of bounced off there the first time. But again, not a super clean looking chart to me. Down today while the market's up. Thinking negative on Tesla, but sometimes when we do that, it gets carried away a little bit here. I see everyone talking about MGOL now. Obviously, there's some sort of an agreement now with Heidmar Inc. right now into an agreement with MGOL. Is this the Lionel Messi clothing brand? Yeah, so, all right, looks like they did reverse split up there, or maybe not. We'll find out more about this, but MGOL right now starting to go. Good luck with everybody on this former penny stock, now $1.40 and ripping upside, 220 we've been at before. But I thought this was way more expensive, like a long time ago. So maybe, yeah, okay, yeah. So we are right. So we've been down here before, 20 cents. We'll find out what happened down there in May. Looks like it might have been a reverse split, but it was a pretty sharp move in 2 days to the upside. So we'll find out. I don't know if this is one split or not, but nice move up for MGOL right now. I would say you play this back to $1, but you might not get that opportunity. Find out more information about this. MGOL starting to go.
Let's say we were just talking about Optimus and the opportunity for Optimus still to come. Let's talk about SMCI here. Big gap higher along with Dell this morning. This one a little bit more active and volatile. As expected, being $964 today, 4.8% to the upside. Yeah, I mean, long story short, Dell and SMCI selected to provide some server shelving for XAI and some of this new storage that they're going to have available. But this is a big move already today.
It's a big move, and as well, worth noting here, Michael Dell, CEO of Dell, actually saying on a post in X in response to what Elon Musk said about Dell and SMCI working on these server racks, which was also announced on the social media platform X. Michael Dell saying that they're going to be building a, quote, Dell AI factory powered by Nvidia, just specifically for powering this AI robot Grok. So this is a really interesting note here. Dell definitely going to be very involved in SMCI with these server racks as well.
Yeah, we're right at these May highs right now, the end of May. You got to go back to 975 here. It tagged it twice. Right there, or just below it right now, guys.
Yeah, like SMCI, it's probably, like this, it could be, if it gets another $10 up and makes this break at 975, you have to think a test of 1,000 is going to be in play, but it's not through it just yet. So you have pulled back about $10 on SMCI. It's a $900 stock, right? So you understand that $10 on this isn't the same thing as $10 on insert other stock here, like Nvidia, Tesla, something else like that. So it can easily make that break, but you've already rejected that. And pull back that 10 even. I like Dell a little bit better for the setup because unless you're breaking out, SMCI is like right at a resistance level. At least with Dell, you've got Dell recovering from what was a drastic pullback, hold that 50 period, hold some higher lows, and then you get the catalyst working for you. It gives you 150, easy round number, closed at 49 on Tuesday, and then you have the highs from Tuesday's trade, the 153 area. If you have this consolidation, morning high 53, afternoon high 54, and then the pre-market gives you the same thing. So I think that gives a 153 buy zone for Dell early. If it holds that, you look like dip and rip. If it cannot hold 153, it's just back it off until 150 bucks on Dell. I think that makes it at least relatively simple. That MGOL, like eventually it'll turn into, like they're combining and then it turns into I forget the name of the new listing it's going to be. So it's not like some cash deal where you're just getting X amount of dollars for your shares. You will eventually own the new entity. So, I just play the momentum here. I haven't been able to find a really good valuation concept for what this will be worth to MGOL. But with 37 million in volume, there's VWAP. The dollar would make some sense as well. But VWAP's at 110. I'd be looking to play bounces on this, but I don't know if you get to $1, so got to be flexible with MGOL.
Yeah, I was just looking, MGOL, interesting name there for sure. So I have Dell written on here on the sticky note here. I just said dips into VWAP because that's generally, I'm going to play this kind of like, not like an earnings play, but like a catalyst that could easily get sold off as well. So right now, VWAP's not going to mean anything. We're taking in consideration these big prints here. So right now, it's at 153 and change. Let's just let this settle down a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back into 150. All Elon Musk did was already confirm what Dell's already told us. I mean, their racks, their servers, everything's being used all over the place for all of these servers. So yeah, XAI is using them. I feel like that's important to know. So it just justifies what we already do know about Dell. I mean, Dell, although we got that dump off there on earnings, it was just ripping from February of $80 up to $180. It was more than double in a matter of months there for Dell. And the story was exactly what the story is today. Customers are buying them. Dell continues to be a great story. I don't know what exactly we want to do up here at these highs, so I'm not going to break the long, but it's up 4% and looking amazing. So I really want to be into Dell. I just feel that this news is not something that we should pretend is new. It's just, it does justify where Dell's trading. And that's it. It's a good story. We can now believe them, obviously. Bouncing off the 50 period is really strong. I like Dell back here. I'm right now bidding 150. I don't think we fall $5, but if it does come through, I want to get the long. So like 150.50. We'll see if we can get a bid down there. But we do want to keep Dell definitely up on a screen here because if you're going to trade names with Catalyst, this is a good one. We like the story in AI. We like the story with the chips. And Dell continues to be a big part of that. I don't trade SMCI, so I feel like SMCI, the same kind of story, but just maybe with options as it's a $1,000 name. So pullbacks in, if you're going to do the same type of thing, it's 920. So there's the gap fill back to 920. It's the same fill back for Dell to 150. So 920 SMCI, 150 for Dell.
Another one continuing to benefit from this move in AI overall, TSM just marching higher as well. If you go back to the end of April, I guess, 120, 125, all the way to 185 at this point, gapping up for the third straight day in a row here. A number of analysts with positive things to say. Bernstein, one of those, maintaining outperform on TSM, $200 price target from Bernstein, 15 bucks or so to go, according to them. There's a few other ones. I mean, there was that note a couple days back on the packaging side of things. They've developed new ways to package these, or more efficient ways to package these semiconductors that they are making. And they've also increased their prices, I think, which is more key on that front to not only get them out the door efficiently and quicker, but making more as they do so.
Taiwan Semi definitely in a lot of analysts' mind. We've seen consistent price target increases over the last few weeks here. And with regards as well, a little more details on that packaging story, Nikkei Asia reporting that apparently TSM is going to be collaborating with some equipment and material suppliers on their new packaging technique. It could, though, however, take several years to commercialize, but that in the works in addition to all of these positive analyst notes. So yeah, we'll have to see where TSM goes from here, but that 120 to 185, quite the journey.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive to say the least. Yet another daily chart looking the same, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like sometimes it can be a little bit of a broken record to talk about if you like a stock and you're looking to get into it, or you're looking to add to a position, whatever it might be. You take the opportunity that's given to you and not the one that necessarily you think is perfect. Because there were multiple opportunities to buy dips in TSM and probably a host of other names, but like, it is what it is. You got to move past that. Now that you're at these highs, it just doesn't feel. Look, the reaction that this had to 185 and why I'm kind of preferring Dell is just this pullback off 185 to lose 180 on Tuesday, right? So you had a pretty hefty pullback off this level, and until you're breaking it back out, I just don't love it as much. So it has to be holding $185 on the bid, and if it can do that, I think I'd be a little bit more inclined to want to be in TSM. So the manner in which it traded off of that high, I feel it distinguishes itself a little bit from Dell. Like Dell made a move 146 and topped to 154 and then pulled back half the move, as opposed to TSM in the case here where, it made the same kind of similar breakout into a fresh high and then kind of gave it all back. So I just don't love it as much. And you can talk about stocks being overvalued, TSM trading at a premium to its, the ADR trading at a premium to the actual, but you're just here to follow price action. So I'm not a huge fan. It has to hold the 85 level on the bid. Then I'd be interested in the long there. I know the chip names and AI names that we'll be playing today, NVIDIA, AMD, Dell in the pocket as well. I'm a maybe on ARM, but TSM, unless it's holding 185, no.
I'm still trying to remain the same, and if I'm going to look negative on a stock here today, not that TSM is negative, I mean, I like TSM, but in the space, now AMD's starting to go back up to the upside. It looks like Nvidia is starting to go downside a little bit right here, so just to look at these names, I was going to say try to short AMD, but again, I don't want to forget about SMH. We've been trading that pretty good lately. Another name in the space that not all of us are looking at. Like, we can keep going over all of these different names. I think SOXL or SMH, I mean, SOXL is the other way. There's many different ETFs that we could trade on this. So this is just another one. I just, looking at some of these, you're just gonna get a little bit of a better return on a triple or a double levered ETF in case something does start to come back in to the downside. So right now, I'm just looking over here. I mean, TSM's been, again, another rocket ship. It's the second most popular holding or weighted holding in the SMH. And again, another big move for Taiwan Semi, looking to take out that top of 185. So I'd still say stay long on these names, but again, feel like it's a little early here right now. We're in Nvidia. You can see it's starting to go down. I don't necessarily want to average into this. We've already gotten a fill down here on Nvidia at 139.60. So now we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait for that 138 to come in and watch out for Nvidia right here off the open, as imbalances are just minutes away.
All right, Meta. We'll wrap things up here real quick with Meta, $500. If you zoom out on a daily chart, you'll see why that's important. Been a pivot for the past couple of weeks, gapping back above it this morning after spending all day, going back to Tuesday, trying to get through it from beneath. But here we are, back to 502, 503 here for Meta.
Nice little price target increase here from KeyBank this morning, 475 to 540, maintaining an overweight rating, basically saying that they're seeing a, quote, meaningful uptick in Meta's ad prices, amongst other things. So META getting this price target increase above 540 as the stock tries to climb up that level. Making
session lows as we speak here, though. Guys, what do you think, Meta?
Well, you might have just said it, like 500. There's a reason why that's going to be in there, but let's go. I'll go a little bit of a step further than that. The 500 has been a good. It's not a pivot point because I know a pivot point is an actual technical term. So 500 isn't technically the pivot point, but if you look at the chart, it has been a good turning point for the stock. Like if you look at it 2 days ago when it finally held the 500 and consolidated above, look at how big the breakout was. So this is it holding 500 on a dip, and there's it breaking back out. So if it does something like that at 500, great. Otherwise, well, 495, 496 looks pretty good to me down here on Meta. And then you can very clearly see 510, 511 up top. That's a range-bound trade. So, you know, if 510, 511 shows up, I think that's a pretty reasonable curl spot. Look for short. If you see underneath 500, I think you got to wait for 495. That 500 level only matters if you see the right action off of it because it's blown through it twice and not even cared. It's just a matter of, like here it blew through it, then held underneath when re-challenged. That made it a short. Here it came back up. Once it broke back above, it then held over it on a consolidation. So you look for a long. Sometimes you just have to wait for action off a price level. Other ones you can see support and go for it. So 500 is not that sit on the bid level. I think that's down in the mid 490s, at least for myself. And then as far as Nvidia goes, it's too late to show you now, but there was 100,000 on the offer at 139.60. They just broke that order. I was adding in front of the pre-market low where I was getting out. It's not really the pre-market low, but like the afternoon, like the 7 o'clock low, let's call it 139. Technically, it's lower in the pre-market, but the 139 was my out. So when it consolidated higher, that's where I got some in. When it broke that order, I took some out here at VWAP in front of 140. So if it breaks 139, I'm going to be out of this stock. If it holds, probably take another profit take in front of the pre-market high, and then just look for trend longs when it comes to this name. But Meta, I think that's a name you just got to be patient with. Some of these big cap tech names have been relatively range bound, and when they are, I think diddling in the middle too much is just going to get you in trouble. You diddle in the middle when you're buying a strong trend. Now, if you don't, in the absence of that, you wait for the key prices, which I'm not sure that 500 qualifies. The 95 for sure. The 95 level, yes. The 510 level, yes.
Look, we hit Meta real good on Friday, and I mean this was sort of the start of the trade. I don't think I talked about it anymore, but we hit 500 to the downside, and then we averaged it in, and then we're able to get that huge move down. And by the way, Nvidia's moving around; the imbalances are out. It just went back to flat. It just broke through 140 and came back. And then we shorted Meta right into here, and we got this 495 print. So we had Meta off and right when we guys left, we were talking about looking at Meta at 11 o'clock there on Tuesday. We were able to get it up here in and around 501. So we actually shorted up here at the 50 period at the time and brought it all the way back in. And I remember telling the story about how Obi was like, maybe you just hold that one, and we did. And we were able to get that $6 or $7 winner on Meta. So we'll look to see about doing that again. I'm not super interested until it comes into 500, but that's going to be coming pretty quickly right now as the NASDAQ has not been able to gather any steam whatsoever today. It's not even like a violent move down. It's slowly dripping. Like when we opened the show, it was up 0.4, and then it's like 0.3, 0.25, where we are right now. So just a little bit of a slow grind back into the downside there off that number at 7:30 or at 8:30, 7:30 Chicago time. So let's wait to see now what happens with all of this. I mean, my attention early will be on Nvidia, obviously, as we're into that one with only a minute left or less than a minute left. Adara will be there in just a couple of seconds to ring the bell. But early looks, Nvidia on dip buys into 138. We'll have to watch out for that. Palantir on my radar as well for a dip into maybe. I mean, I have it I put a bid at 26.10, but now the 200 period is starting to get upside, so maybe we have to get a little bit more aggressive than that, but still watching Palantir, and Dell's at 157, so
it's
I think you could forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for dip buys in Dell, you might not get them. It is what it is, but with only 20 seconds to go, we'll get to Apple right off the open. But Apple trying to go green here on this Thursday, as it was relatively weak. It's bouncing off 213. I didn't see it bounce on it, but it just bounced $1 off the bottom. Let's ring that bell in 3, 2, and 1, Adara. And we are open. Just very quickly, Apple did dip all the way down into 2 days ago, the 213 level looking like a decent one for Apple. I kind of thought 212 today, but the 213 looking good. We still like Apple. We're still fans of it. Dell trying to pull back a little bit here as Nvidia is retesting the 139 level.
Yep, 139 and change coming in for Dell. We'll still, like I said, we'll still wait to see what we can do with this name for Nvidia. All right, so GameStop. Nvidia, we're waiting for 139. We could talk about that. Whoa, what up with that? Palantir, huge move down. Like, I don't know what's going on with Palantir. Let's see. It is making that move down as the Nasdaq's not doing much. Palantir just cracked into 26. So that just dropped 50 cents immediately off the open. Now, interesting levels coming through here. For Palantir, we are starting to head to the downside now. So let's just be careful with it. We do have Nvidia as well. So a couple good pickups. We're long Nvidia right now at 139.60, and we're long Palantir here at 26.08. So 10 cents out of the money here on PLTR. 25.80, that bottom wick, something kind of interesting down there for me right now as well.
Oh,
what's up, Adair?
SoundHound, another AI name here to keep an eye on. This is a small cap here, SOUN. You might remember this ticker because it was announced in mid-February that NVIDIA invested in them. SoundHound today, a couple minutes before the open here, announcing that they've acquired key assets from Allset. So keep an eye on SOUN here, 21+% short float. So SOUN on watch, guys.
So this is just very, very quickly, just to show you guys what happened. Nvidia bounced off 39 a couple of times. I was taking longs in front of 39. I just got in the 50 fill a couple of times there, and the last break got you to 80s. So it wicked the 80 level. I got out. It just bounced again off that 80 level, and I went back in above that 39. The stop is still going to be underneath the new fresh low, so now I'm out of it under 39. We want a 39 bounce. 39 does not hold, at least in the time being. If it's going to be a long again, going to have to look for another level down or for 39 to reestablish itself. Unlike other dip buys, this is one I would take a couple of cracks at this particular level. Apple is right back into that 13 level, starting to come back through. So Apple also heading in lower. I did want shorts on AMD, but I feel like we say this every single time at the open on advanced micro devices. It's not really doing anything. At 59 level is what we want, so we have to be patient. I wanted to short pops in AMD. There are no pops to be shorted on this stock right now.
No siree. All right.
Tesla just
Tesla is too much Tesla for you, or
just
no?
tank
Not
$3.
really.
That's
Okay,
all.
it does tank $3. Not bad. All right. So Palantir. I mean, we're long at 26.04. This has been a pretty violent name here today. So let's start to ring the register. Oh, we just tried to get out 08s and it completely stopped on a dime. All right, Nvidia, man, here we go, baby. Let's go. Let's get this stock rocking right here. Just a couple hundred shares on board now for Nvidia. Long at 139 flat right there on Nvidia. We said that we wanted to stick with this name, so that's what we're doing. Nvidia upside move. We wrote down 138 as a stop problem. 99 problems right now. Nvidia ain't one, as it's a monster. We just got to get above. We just offered 50 and got missed there. There it goes. Nice move back upside for Nvidia. Hey man, could we have the first Dollar Club winner with NVDA? Let's see if we can get that back in the pocket right now. Nvidia really cooking, man. We stuck with it. And again, sometimes you watch these stocks just continue to fall to the downside. Today, let's see if Nvidia continues to climb higher. And right there now, 70 cents in the money. Come on, Nvidia, man. We don't hold enough all the time, but this time we hopefully will be able to do that. As here it goes, man. We are almost that Dollar Club now on Nvidia. Let's go. Keep going to that upside, my guy. See if we could take out 140 and then just continue the plan of action. The number one trade on here is Palantir. We'll still hold on to that. But here we go right now. It's a big one. It's Nvidia. And so far, so good. What's up, Rivian Millionaire and everybody out there that has this with me? It's 139.80, and there it is right there. It is your first Dollar Club member of the day, and it's going to be with Nvidia unless, you're out of that one. and Palantir is what I'm trying to get at right now. This is falling the other way. So we'll be like net flat right now pretty much as we try to battle with Palantir.
Yeah, I'm out of Nvidia. I'm back on the bid at the 39 level if it wants to come in there, but I'm not going to chase it too far. It's still in the same range. If it makes a break, the local high was $140, so there's always a 140 breakout to be had. As it comes back in here, Tesla's at that number, that 182, so it just tagged the 182 level. We said wait for 182 on Tesla, so we waited. Now you're getting a bounce off of this level, going to grab the longs out in front. Now, if it continues to trend down, then we've got the level that we wanted and we did not compromise. I just want to quickly, I'm back in Nvidia off the 139 level. GameStop starting to go for anyone interested. GameStop starting to head into the upside. We'll probably have to break 25 to look a little bit more enticing, but it is making a power move in there. Dell, I think we're just going to have to adjust plans on Dell. Obviously, we're not going to get 150s. We're not going to get, maybe the pre-market low could still come into play, but it just dipped down to 155 and bounced. That pre-market support was at $153. So you're just going to have to step up whatever the higher low is going to be at this particular point in Dell. As far as AMD short, it's starting to rally. So that 159, whoops, there we go. It's starting to rally, so that 159, it's going to be annoying that these are the same price. That 159 coming into play on Advanced Micro Device. Not there yet. It's at 158.30. I'm sitting offer in front of 59s.
All right, we just got a nice one there. Let's go face slap up a little bit with Palantir. I said, remember, I was like, oh, Palantir's a problem and NVIDIA's not. Now Palantir's not a problem and NVIDIA is trying to become that for me. So we'll have to wait now for all of these to sort of fill out a little bit here. So there goes Palantir. We're long at 26. That was kind of the plan. It did dip down into the 80s. We were trying to give it to 26.50. So now we got to let this thing float. I mean, hopefully we get something in the teens and in the 20s because we need at least 20 cents here because we did hold that 20 cents against us. So let's see if this can get back up to the upside. We don't use those ratios with NVIDIA because, this name could go up $2 in a straight line. You don't want to hold something $2 against you if it gets too violent. So again, this name not super violent today. We're really happy trading NVIDIA over the last couple of days. So let's just continue to hold on to this. We do have our target outs in downside at 138. So Google, we marked down 174 as a possible bid. That name got going real good here. The market actually, we might have to look out for some of this. The market might go red, which would not be a good sign which would not be a good sign for a day like today. I'm at 16s right now. It's at 13s. You know what? All right, I'm just going to put something at 12 then. We just missed it. Let's see if we get run through at 12. We're actually on a paid gateway, so it needs to print all the way through in order for us to see. I'm not even getting a fill yet. Did we just get that? No, we did not. Sometimes there it goes, now it got it. So there's a nice fill for us on that one. We'll props it up for anybody trading PLTR with us so far here today. But yeah, so far so good. Just trying to hold on to some of these trades. You know what was another name that we were both looking at that sort of got going and no opportunities to buy it back? Dell still ripping right now. Come on, market. If the market can bounce, man, OMG, we'll be doing pretty good.
So we didn't reverse in Tesla from on that 82 level. Probably would have worked out pretty nicely, but headed down to 180. We said 82 and 80. I didn't reverse. I did attempt to reverse, I should say, but I didn't actually get the fill. We have to use two orders, one to get out and then one to try to get back into position on the other direction. It is flushing, still heading into the downside. The 140 level is still proving to be a little bit of a concern for Nvidia, not getting past it. It also happens to be VWAP, so I'm going to cover some in front of that, and then we're going to play the range. If it keeps bouncing down here, take some out and then reload, rinse and repeat over and over. Apple has bounced nicely off of 212, right back into 214. This is looking relatively strong here for Apple on that little reversal play. We didn't get that long. We're going for Tesla at the 182 level first, and AMD wants to challenge the resistance from Friday. I want to say, that's Monday. Monday's resistance right up here. So Monday's resistance is where I want to be out of the stock. Needs to curl here for any kind of an ad. So we're range bound on Nvidia, that 139 to 140 level. Tesla, I think a 182 short is going to work inside of this range here. And AMD going counter trend to the market. Although it's done this in the past and then usually ends up falling. It did this before. You had to be willing to give it a couple of shots. That was on Friday when it did that couple of tests at 161. So you got to be patient.
And we told you it didn't matter who's sitting beside us, right? We did it on Friday. We did it on Tuesday. Neil right now back. Good luck for me again coming through here today as we talked about luck, right? And luck is not something that you want to sort of count on, but you need it sometimes. There's Nvidia, nice move up to the upside there, $1 as we still hold on to that one. And then honestly, man, $26 we wrote down here. We said that we needed at least 20 cents on this play. There's 30 cents as Palantir just, honestly, this is going to be, well, no, PL number one is actually Palantir, or is actually Nvidia, just because of the amount of shares and the confidence that we had in this name over a Palantir. But there goes Nvidia, man. This is PL number one by far. Today's a monster day. We're even probably having a better day today than we did on Tuesday. Let's just keep on going to the upside. Man, it's so good to be back. I loved having a vacay, but hey, man, vacays are something that are forced around here. It was nice to have one, but there goes Nvidia. There it goes, 140. Oh man, are we printing? It's Palantir to the money side. It's Nvidia, man. There it is. Let's go. It's a cash cow, as you know that one, and we just continue to get higher and higher. Wow, what a stock, what a name. The number one trade idea on here. Look what we have written down. Palantir and Nvidia, trade number 1 and 2. And you know, on this floor, this is PL 1 and 2 today. Palantir and Nvidia, that's what we're talking about. We're trying to put those up, and we did it again there with Nvidia. Now $1.70 in the money, Palantir 50 cents. Oh man, it's a good day here today, Neil. Let's go over to the desk with Adara.
New Scale Power, or SMR, here making its 4th consecutive candle on the 3-minute chart here. Nice move on the daily chart as well. Not seeing any news on this name, but it has, as you can see here, traded higher over the last few weeks. We do have a smaller market cap, $2.2 billion, and also quite a lot of attention here on social media. So keep an eye on SMR if you're looking for some smaller names. This one trading around $10.50 right now, guys.
For s'more, that's what I'm going to be calling it. So 140 broke. I actually added on the 140 break. I'm out of the 139s. I'm only in 140s on Nvidia now. So this was the 139. It broke out the 140 level. If we're looking for higher lows, I think you work VWAP. VWAP's 139.5. If it bounces off 140, I'd play that level. So we're going to continue to trend upside there. Tesla, we went and reversed. If 182 is not going to hold, then we'll look for the short off of that level. VWAP's at the $0.50. That's where I'm going to look to get out. So just want to make sure we have our order set to go there. Dell's pretty much, yeah, I'm not even on Dell anymore. It just broke the $160 on Dell. So I think you can stick a fork in Dell. That one looking like it's going to be an absolute rocket ship to the upside. 161 now trading on Dell. So we got 2 shorts on, but with the market making a bit of a bounce, that's going to be that concern. AMD is still at Friday's highs. Check that. I keep saying Friday. This was Monday, Monday's highs. If it does not hold that lower high, or that high, then we just got to jump out of this one. AMD, the best short when it did this move last time wasn't necessarily the first top. You had to be able to catch it on the back end. So I'm willing to stop it out if it makes a fresh top and then try to find another entry on the other side of this trade. AMD has been relatively weak. As far as the longs go, the only one that actually set up and gave the fills was Nvidia. Dell was the one we loved, and we're just not going to get in that. Has to calm down and give us some kind of a spot.
Man, this has been, what else we got? Palantir, Nvidia. Okay, well, let's check out some GameStop. Look, we're getting some Nvidia out here at 140.50. I mean, this is, and again, congratulations, everybody. I see Obi back there has got it as well. So, I mean, everybody on Nvidia today, and it has to be, right? It is the stock. And again, this is why it's literally been my #1 trade ticker. I remember before Nvidia split, I said Nvidia will be my #1 name moving forward. So, I mean, right there, we knew that we liked actionable trades. I feel like we do got some here with Nvidia. All right, so Palantir is another name. We're trying to get some out. And again, you don't want to be too greedy when you're looking at trades. And good out there at 140.50. We got a bunch of different outs. We can play pullbacks in for sure. But a good trade up for Nvidia all the way back into pre-market highs where we sat and took it out. So just the fact that you're taking shares out there means you just made this money back. So see this dip buy? I just sold 140.50. You could buy it back right now. Wow, now it's starting to go to the downside. And this is part of the risk about punching levels like that. We did that on Tuesday again. And it's like when it works, great, but then you got to watch out for the backside there, Phil. So back into 140 one more time, bounced off VWAP again there. So yeah, it continues to work here for Nvidia. And, you know, we really couldn't be happier with these trades, but, you know, there's more to come on all of them. As you know, we had Micron above 150 on Friday. Tuesday, that keeps on going there. Nice downside move right into 150. Oh, no. Wow, that was a great trade to be had down there. I didn't even realize it fell that far. So nice move back in for Micron, back down to 150. Great trading there, bouncing off of that bottom. But honestly, man, I mean, Nvidia. Oh, yeah, by the way, Nvidia, we took $2 on that trade, and we're $0.50 in the money on Palantir.
Mogul's halted here, guys. So it's halted to the downside. It halted once up. It's now halted down. I think this could be your chance if you're looking to buy this one on the dip, which we thought maybe 110 or $1. If it opens back up here, it's 145. VWAP sits at 120. It's a volatility halt, so it'll be open in about 1 minute or so. Nvidia did a dip. It bounced off VWAP, but it was really quickly. You'll see the wick down here. It tried to hold VWAP. It was like a split second that you had a chance to get in there at about the 70 level. I threw the bid out there, didn't get the fill at 74. Probably 80s would have worked it, but still looking for that lower high to be able to get Nvidia. AMD pushed through. We got out of that one. I don't think I want back in anytime soon. However, Tesla was different. Tesla wicked out, but it's still holding underneath VWAP. So it's still a little bit downward trending Tesla, making me a little bit more interested in this. So it's one thing to short a pop on a weak stock. It's another one, you know, Indy got to the level, it blew through it. I want to see some lower highs in confirmation. At least Tesla is still downward trending if it can hold underneath VWAP here. Let's go to the desk. We've got Adara.
Zap EV making new day's highs here, pushing a little bit higher. This one is certainly of note, about 70% up on the day. As you can see here in the daily chart, we actually had a 1 for 20 reverse split in mid-April. News catalyst for this one today, they reported their earnings for the first half of fiscal 2024. Net loss of $5 million, so less of a loss on a year-over-year basis than last year's $8.6 million, also expecting to start delivering its i300 vehicle in Q4. So nice look here for ZAPP, 1.6 million share float, guys.
Zap, yeah, zap that one up to the upside there. Okay, so I was actually looking at Disney. We did talk a little bit about this one before. It's trying to break above $101 right now, and it is doing that. We have the 50-period moving average at 101 flat, and we do have the 200 moving average right here as well, as the Nasdaq's trying to get back higher and higher and higher, and Nvidia is trying to get to those levels as well. So possible dip buy opportunities at 101 and change right there for Disney. I did want to check back in on Google, another name that we were looking at earlier. I want a dip buy opportunity for this, and it is retracing back down into the 200 period moving average right now. So a decent dip buy opportunity available here for Google. Although we are down on this move, still up on the day, bouncing off the 200 period moving average right now is Google. So again, a possible opportunity here for this name, if you like it, to get back involved. I don't know. I was looking for the long at 174, so I wonder if we're going to be a little bit too early looking right now at Google. So let's be patient. Possible buy opportunity here on Google off of that bottom wick. As we've already seen, it had to move up. Maybe we could buy at 175.40. Worth trying, but I'm going to hold off just for a minute here on Google.
You know what? Google's one of the names I actually didn't look at this morning. Unfortunately, we're looking a lot at Meta, Apple. Mogul reopened and held basically the open low, $101.29, 129. If this stock gets to $129, there'll be a lot of happy people, and the shorts aren't them. But look, 129, it held it right here at the open. It just put in a bid at 133. So pretty simple, looking for dip buys. If you get VWAP, you get VWAP and you play it there. But catching that bid off of 133. I got the long on the way back up 140s. If it makes that fresh low, it's about 12 to 15 cents worth of risk on the stock. And the high is $1.73. So there's plenty of room to run to the upside. That halt price at 150, I want to get some out at the top of that wick just in case it fails that halt level. Want to be taking some profit on MGOL. Still looking for the dip buy in Nvidia, which I think is coming into play right now off of VWAP. So VWAP can hold. That's the dip area for me on Nvidia. Still not much happening over there in Tesla. Mogul, always have a stop. Like, I'm getting out if it breaks at 129. I'm not getting caught in any down halts.
All right, 26. I'm just going to play this back to VWAP. 26, 24 or so. Apparently, everybody's favorite meme investor, Ryan Cohen, looking at stake in Chewy right now. So we'll take, we'll take a little bit of a long here. I don't. Again, it's hard to like trust some of these stories, of course, but we'll take it. We're long here at 56. So, you know, not really moving. We'll take a 75 fill. It just went up to 70s. We'll see if that can fill. We'll give it back to VWAP. If it's going to be right, it's going to be, like, if it matters, it matters. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll take the hit. Not a bad trade, up 2%. We always like to play pullbacks into VWAP. So, again, on a news-based story, you kind of hope that you catch the story maybe before it happens or as it's happening. And right now, Chewy, if that is the case, we've seen a lot more volume and a lot bigger moves coming in this name. And again, just to look at CHWY, as we're still in, Nvidia's not doing anything, so we're going to wait for that. I mean, it's still going good. We're still $1.50 in the money on Nvidia. You know what? Let's take out a piece. Why not? Okay. I just want to check this out. Short float on Chewy, 13.79%. So a little bit of a catalyst there, not really moving. We did just take some, we missed it. So we put an offer at 140.10 there for Nvidia. It's starting to fall back in. NVDA coming back pretty nicely here. We're out of about 70% of Palantir as it went into day's high again, possible reload spot again, but I'm going to wait for the bottom. I mean, the market's not healthy today. It doesn't appear to be. So we're going to have lots of opportunities to get back into a lot of these positions. And right now, Nvidia is pulling back down, man. There it goes. I mean, that's, again, one of these issues, pulling back into VWAP as the market does not look super healthy, but it is a nice bounce back there.
Yeah, it's making that VWAP pull, but it does not bounce off VWAP. And if it doesn't bounce off VWAP, then that's not the re-entry for me. I'm out waiting for the 139. I want to see it holding above. I want to see it trending above. Tesla, we're not in Tesla just yet, but that just went the other direction off VWAP as well. I tried grabbing it here on the way down. Pretty slick move at 183 for Tesla as it continues to trend into the downside, and looking for a VWAP retrace here as well. We probably got it a little bit early and don't want to do the same mistake twice. We'll look for a little bit more of a push where we can get a better price on Tesla here underneath the 183. It's trending down. If the market wants to head down, I think this can still head lower. Let's go to Adara.
Some more details on Chewy here, CHWY. This one actually was trading higher on Tuesday as well. Never a specific catalyst found, but apparently the company's online sales were higher in May. With this story today, though, what I'm seeing is apparently traders have been circulating rumors, so totally unconfirmed and not sourced here, saying that Ryan Cohen could be buying a $3 billion position in the company. So again, rumors, as Sean was kind of stating there, just to restate this, rumors circulating that Ryan Cohen could be buying a $3 billion position in CHWY. Nice look here, guys.
All right, well, we're already, let's just go, I don't care what he's doing, we'll just ring the register right now. We just got 180s, we got 80s, we got 84s right there on this name, so we're long at 57. We talked about that, we punched into it, and there's the outs. We said we were waiting at 75, which we were, and then we got an 84 print as well, as it looked like it was stopping, so I was over there looking at it. So that is Chewy. Let's wait to see if it goes upside again. Nvidia still trying to bounce off those levels. GameStop, because we're talking about Ryan Cohen. Let's go over here and quickly look at that one. Oh, wow. We were bidding. Honestly, I'm still here, so I can look. 23.51. It went to 65. Let's see if we are getting a move back in for GameStop. So we still are bidding 23.50, trying to play off of that level. Wow. There goes Nvidia. Yes, sir. What an awesome day it is today for NVDA. Another one bought that dip off 139.50. If you did do that, that's a 200-period move. We'll take another out at 140.10 right there. Now $1.50 in the money there. 20 cents in the money off a bounce play for Palantir. I mean, this is just, we're not at the maximum spot we were at earlier, but I mean, things are still holding pretty good. And we were able to get out plus add a new position to our roster with Chewy. So let's just keep this going, man. So far, so good there. And more talk about MGOL. again, halted right now. So halted to the low. Nice move down $1.25. Obviously, you'd like to be involved in that short, but right now we were not looking at it. Just now halted. MGOL. Man, Nvidia and Palantir have been so good, and Chewy trying to make that move as well.
Yeah, there's no free locates on this name, by the way, for Mogul, so we'll probably have to go ahead and pay them. But I said I'm not getting trapped in a down halt. We're long in front of the 128 level. The second it broke, we got out. I actually got the print here at 27s. It halts at 25. It's up to you. I'm never holding through a halt if I can avoid it. But if it bounces off a VWAP, that's got to be a different trade. I don't want to guess that it's going to happen. I want to see it happen at least first. Tesla, just quickly, before I actually pay for these locates, Tesla just came back underneath VWAP. So we got this one, at least a little bit of a better entry, I want to say, here off that 182.5. So 182, still a key level. If it bounces off that, I want to make sure I'm taking some profit on the way to the low. Tesla down 1.5% into a flat market. Trending down, want to respect the trend because last I checked, the trend is your friend. I was just on the other side of 182 trying to get some 90s. I'll just stick in here at 182.02 and see if we can get that fill on Tesla. If it stays in this range, we'll do some scalping off of it, and Nvidia pulling back above and trying to hold on to that VWAP. Apple, it's not at the lows, so I'm not really seeing. The trade for Apple, I think, is going to be off of the lows where it bounced. Right away at 9:30, it was 212. You go to a 15-minute chart, 212 is a big level for Apple. So I think you got to wait for that as the market is starting to come back in. NASDAQ could go red. If it does, I think you want to be patient, look for the dip buys, try to play that trend in. Tesla settling into a downward move. Apple might be doing the same.
All right, guys, we're what time is it even? 9:55. Okay, so far we're 3 for 3 today. We have Palantir long at 26. I mean, just trying to get more out now. We have Nvidia long at 138.60. I mean, that's still $1 and change in the money. And then we have Chewy long, which has come back, but we've already cashed out of some of that. So let's wait to see now where it goes. I mean, this has just been, honestly, I mean, we have something for this. It's just been another one. I mean, just over and over again as we go. We'll see if we could find one more again and drop down some more of this one as we go. Look at AMD, man, up 5 and change, just continuously going here. So happy to be in other names, but for right now, we're at the highest spot we've been at all day, P&L wise, and part of that was because of Chewy giving us those highs. And then Nvidia, we did not reload it, but still hovering near there. Palantir made its move back. What else you guys want me to look at? Meta, maybe? Coming in again. Yeah, where are we on the market? So I'm looking at this, and I might be thinking Meta as a short, actually, right now, to be honest with you. 504, looking to 503 to break a little bit lower. Now for Meta, we actually really nailed this the other day. Thing is that we're already pretty. If I'm going to go short Meta, let me get something more out here on Nvidia. All right, so Meta, 502 break lower. We could try this. We're going to have to hold out for maybe a better price on Meta, as you can get really railroaded here. Let's try to take something at 502. And then I wanted to look at, what is that, 503? Of course, now we're not going to get it. I just put a 501.99. I actually joined that offer. Now look what's happening. Yeah, I want to get something short up here, under VWAP, under the 50, under all of that. I like this one for a short side trade right now today. So yeah, man, Meta, we just missed it. We'll see if we can get it again. 502 is the offer that I have for Meta, but it is coming back in. And as the market comes in, I mean, this is it, man. I don't know if big BPI back there has this or not, but right now it's Palantir long, 25.97. It's a big one, man. We're 3 for 3. It's all good today, so we'll just continue to hold it, but watch out. Trying to look for more opportunities. It doesn't matter what you've been doing, it's what you're about to do. So let's wait to see what happens here. Chewy, remember where we're going to get out a break of VWAP? Well, I'm still going to use 25s down here. We've already taken out some profit. If this name doesn't work, fine. Good so far for Chewy. Let's just hold out and try to see if we can get Meta on a bounce back to the upside.
Yeah, for what's next, I mean, Nvidia is still, while the market's heading down, it's still holding VWAP in there. It broke VWAP. We got out of the breakout trade. We jumped back in for a VWAP hold, scalped it out when it got that 50 cents up. It was technically like 60 cents to move. We got about 50 on it. If it can hold out here, still a bit of a downward trend. I'd like to see it bounce and show some more strength before we get any more shares in there. Tesla is still holding in the other direction. So holding underneath VWAP. Next press up, I'll look for a VWAP fail for a reload on Tesla. MGOL after the down halt. Mogul, it is Mogul, I think. That's what I'm going to call it. Holding underneath VWAP. The dollar level feels like it's going to come into play. So no bounce off VWAP, which means no trade again for me. But the $1 level, if it can bounce, I think it's a relatively simplistic trade. You did have support here at about 95 cents, so I'd look for it to hold a buck, try to get ones and twos on the way back in, and stop it out at 95. Still have Apple trending toward 212. I think it's going to get there at this point. I was just scanning, looking for things that are weak into a weak market, and ARM, which I haven't paid for locates of, still looking a little bit timid, down 2%. I mean, Nvidia's up 3%. ARM being down here, not necessarily great. It's kind of following along with Apple, and it's been strong since Apple's event. So 172 was this support, pre-market lows. It just wicked off the 172 level. That looks like a short to me. I always want to join trends at this time of day around 10 o'clock, and if it's putting in a lower high and down, I want to take that shot on ARM. But first, I have to pay for locates, and we've got to go to the desk for happening now.
The markets had a holiday yesterday, but everything is just back to normal. Tons of strength for all of these semiconductors, with Nvidia continuing to push higher, even after becoming the top U.S. publicly traded company as of Tuesday. So great look for NVDA. Also, we do have a lot of Fed speakers on the horizon. Fed's Kashkari saying that he thinks it'll take a year or two to get down to that 2% inflation target. We also have Fed's Barkin coming in at 4 p.m., so keep an eye on some Fed speak on a day that's been pretty light for economic data, other than the initial jobless claims and building permits we got this morning. Let's look at some names here, and all of the names we're going to be looking at are going to be some chip names with catalysts, including SMCI. Supermicro and Dell both trading higher after Elon Musk said that his XAI supercomputer is going to be built with server racks from Dell and SMCI, so good look for those two. SMCI about 9% to the upside right now. AMD also very strong. Tuesday morning, it was circulating on Twitter that AMD had been the victim of a cyber attack. AMD came out last night saying that there was, quote, no material impact on its business because there wasn't a lot of information access. So AMD up 5.5%. Last but not least, here we do have TSM here, Taiwan Semi. Another chip name here, this one continuing to push to the upside as well. A couple positive analyst-related notes. So a little bit weaker than its peers, but still up about 1+% right now, guys.
All right, we have a new position. It's Meta, and it's just an ho-hum 70-cent winner right now. We'll wait to see where we go now on Meta, as we just shorted that 502. We talked about that, right? So we actually got it a little bit early. We didn't get that 501.99 fill. We got 501.75. So 71, sorry. So we'll now wait to see what happens here on Meta. Looking to be hopefully a downside push. I'm not bidding anything till 500. So if it comes in, it will be fantastic, I hope. And then maybe we get a break lower. But hey, for me, if we're gonna try to take $1.50 on the first position, we gotta give this some room back up to the upside. So we'll look to short some more here in and around 503. If, again, we're lucky enough to get something at that level, then that's where we wanna take it. So yeah, everything cruising. Chewy's still there. Is there anything else? We looked at Meta. I don't know. Again, we're waiting for that price. We just got greedy. We could have taken 501s for sure, but hey, I mean, that's why I'm telling you to trade this way. And I put in the chat, like, you could see Neil's positions at the bottom, my positions at the bottom. Right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So again, a little bit of management having to happen here as we go. I mean, let's take out another piece of Nvidia. I would love for Nvidia to continue to go higher right now, which is, it is having a problem with 140. We're $1.50 in the money. So let's just hold on here to see what winds up happening. But I am getting another piece out as we've come up to this 140.20, 140.15, like over and over and over again. So we'll see if we can get something out. BTC, yeah, 65,000. Good call there, Sebastian.
Bitcoin's at 65. I mean, Bitcoin has been lagging. I don't know. Lagging is kind of like the right word, I suppose. That's what I want to use there. But yeah, I didn't really look too much at anything except for Mara, and Mara was a 21, looking like a potential breakout. Just very quickly, I said I would get into ARM. ARM did make that pop. We paid for locates. They're dirt cheap here at Real Trading, so shout out to Real Trading. Sometimes you got to pay for them, but usually really, really cheap, less than 1 cent per share. I got 70, 78 here underneath the 71. I was trying to get a little bit more closer to that 172, But as we did not get that fill, I'll look for another place to add. If it bounces off VWAP and holds a higher low, I'll probably just jump out of the trade and then look to reestablish a little bit higher up, closer to that 72. Tesla is making that run at VWAP again. I want something closer to 183 where that local high has been. It's in the spot right at yesterday's lows, Tuesday's lows, where you want to look for the curl, but the best fills have been over VWAP into the 183 level here on Tesla. So that's what I will hold out for on this name. MGOL, we did want, you can want to bounce all you want off $1. It just bounced off 110, so we just have to be patient with it. No need to jump out in front of it. If it's going to continue lower under VWAP, then the $1 level can come to us. We look for a bounce off the first stop level, the second it broke, we get out. I just want to make the same type of play here, but off the $1 even. So no need to rush into this just yet. Or back into it, because we're already in it once.
Yeah, we just took a little bit more shares on Meta here at 501.70, so it's still our same price, 501.69 actually. We got a little bit of a worse price right there. So let's just see now what winds up happening. Here, I'm pretty excited about this play. So we are now bidding where am I bidding here? 501. All right, so it's gonna have to slam down. Look at the spread though. Remember, we talked about this on Tuesday, where this can get quite spready. So one little push down through 501 and we'll get that fill, but let's just wait for it as a little bit of a tricky idea there to try to get that fill. So we'll wait. We need a slam down for that. There it is. Come on. One more slam right here and we'll take 70 cents. There it is. Yes, sir. 4 for 4 today. Right now as we'll throw it up here, as we've been having diamond hands, trying to hold on to the best positions that we have. And if we're able to do that, then hopefully success will be forthcoming. Nice move downside now for Meta, as there it is. It's another one. We took $2 in the money on Nvidia. It's $1 right now on Meta. We're 50 cents in the money on Palantir. I mean, today, guys, I know it sounds like a broken record, but another good day. I mean, I just hope that you can see all of the trades, obviously, that we're putting on. I don't hope that you can. And you can ask us questions in the chat about any of the trades, why we got out, what's going on with them, and if we're looking at anything else, right? So keep those stuff going. Make sure you like and subscribe everything that we do here, and so you can get notified when we have new things that's going on. And, of course, on the midday show today, Sharif is sick again, and we will be subbed in with Obi, I believe, on the midday show. So thanks, Obi, for being,
I hope so.
Hey, man, so do I. This is what happens when, we're sick around here. So we'll try to do our best to come in. Neil's obviously here with this Achilles, and we are here every single day that the market is open, and that's why we were not here yesterday. Palantir still here. I might take this another opportunity right now. Oh, we can't. Did we get filled? Okay, good. We got something there at 46. Sometimes it depends on the gateway you use, whether or not you get filled or not. But with this much volume, 17 million shares, so far so good here on that one. Nvidia moving, Chewy moving, Meta. Good thing we got that fill. We're still waiting for 502. So if that comes back in, then we'll get that. Brad, you want the money for your short? Then you got it right there. Today's going to be a good day for us here. So far, we'll be holding this as our second place, because I got to give a big congratulations to the man who's killing it in the back there. He is the leader. He is the leader of all of us. He is the man. He is the myth. He is the legend. And I got to give a big congratulations and a big bang up for Brankles putting up numbers today. So that obviously means a lot there to everybody behind us, because Brankles puts in a heck of a lot of time teaching everybody, and it's great to see some numbers being put up there. So congrats, Brankles, there in the back, as we'll just continue to sort of do as we've been doing here today, waiting for opportunities. Intel might be another one. We're going to check back in on Disney in a couple minutes.
Yeah, Nvidia just lost support, so we'll go over it just a quick little second here. I got to get to ARM as well, as that's starting to drop back in. VWAP hold, we scalped it out. It cannot hold on to VWAP. It made this bounce off 139.5 once. When I saw it happen again, we jumped back in. So just looking for levels to establish. Once it made a fresh low, I jumped out of the trade. We're still short Tesla and ARM. We'll go to Tesla first. ARM is a little bit safer. Tesla did a wick shimmy. I'm using Sharif's term in his lieu. You know what, it doesn't matter what I would call it. It wicked the top at 183 and then instantly retraced. So, If I'm sitting there at that point 1 for 3 on the short, but it's still a short, then I just jump back into the trade. You just have to. It is what it is. If a setup's there, a setup's there. It doesn't matter. The stock doesn't care that you're 1 for 3.
Whoops! Oh no.
Really, the market and the stock don't care. Jumped right back in at the same price on the way back down and just got 182. So we're right back into the same trade. ARM is tanking now a little bit into the low of the day. We took some out at VWAP. I did make an attempt to get in again on ARM, but we didn't. So the low of the day is down at 166. If you see me like moving around, I just have to find comfortable positions, that's all. I'm going to be doing some squirming, I'm fine. But I want this 166.5 bottom. If it bounces off that, we're going to take the profit on ARM and run. The way that I've successfully traded ARM has been when it makes a bottom, I get out, and it's a defined low like this. So sometimes it's too early for a lot of people, but when I see it already make a bottom that's significant, like this 167 area, I'm taking this profit. I'm not going to look this $3 in the mouth. I've got a trailing stop for 50 cents, and I have a bid out at that low of the day.
Yeah, it looks like a good trade there. It looks like we are starting to get to the downside here on a lot of these names. We just put in some shares here on Nvidia, so let's see if this one wants to go. We are $1 in the money, obviously, on Meta as that's trying to go. Chewy, by the way, we tried to change our stop order, and instead I executed immediately at the current price. So we bought back in, but it's right down at the 50-period moving average. So Chewy could fall on its face and do absolutely nothing. But we loaded it up, man. And this is the thing. If I'm going to write down Nvidia 138 and it gets down there, then you damn well know what's going to happen. We're going to put some shares on. So let's go. Again, nice trade, hopefully to the back upside here for Nvidia, but if it breaks 138, then we're gone, which is why we just averaged out. We put on our biggest amount of shares in one individual moment down there at 138.25. So far, so good on that hold back in upside for NVDA. Oh, and by the way, $2 on Meta right there as we get 500. Let's see what's happening now to the downside there on Meta. Hopefully more downside. But you know what? We have many more shares on Nvidia. So if this one can climb back up, that would even be better. So right now we are long at 138.30 here on Nvidia. Would be nice to get this back, but who knows if it's going to or not, but we did look at 138. If it breaks 138, we're out. So 30 cents worth of risk here plus slippage. Looks like it's going to come in right now. There it goes. It's going to lose 138, I feel like. I don't know if there's been news on something, but
the market just took out the bottom. 20,000 could come into play. I think it's red to green on the green to red on the Nasdaq. Was the acceleration to the downside. Just come to my chart for a quick second.
This is so good.
We broke overnight lows. Obviously, and you're headed down to the 20,000 level over here on the Nasdaq. As I said, I'm trailing this ARM all the way down to what is the bottom. This is the low. So yeah, it is what it is. ARM is falling like rock. It's down like down 5% now. I'm taking it out at the bottom because that's what works for my trading style. Sometimes I have tight stops. Sometimes we take targets, hold from one level to the next level. But 71 down to 65 half, we'll take it. Tesla is continuing to flush to the downside, but it's not nearly as weak as ARM is. But we had to take a couple of hits there on Tesla, and if it hits the low of the day, I'm thinking the 180 level instead of this 180.5. The 180.5 is the current low, but I'm looking for the 180 level here on Tesla. The only thing I am now left in is it works back to the downside. Technical break on the futures, but you know what? For all of that, Apple didn't break the low. So we play patience game with Apple. Probably wrong, maybe. I thought 212 was going to be a thing and the market would take us down toward it. Apple putting in some higher lows. If these futures bounce from here, I think Apple's going to look like an intriguing long. But until then, we're just going to have to just back off, wait for the level to come. If it wants to bounce off the low, that's 50 cents from now. You don't want to jump in too early. If it's got a $1.50 range, then 50 cents is going to matter on something like Apple. So I do still want the lows or that 212 even level. I'll check back in on ARM. I would want to short a pop back into VWAP if we can get it, but that's a good $3 away. So let's let it make the move, and then we'll adjust to the move as it happens.
All right, we'll stay positive on NVIDIA, but it did drop through 138. So that last take there, we actually, I didn't even look at the price we got because I think it was fine. We got 88s on the break, so that's pretty good. We're able to take that. That's where it is right now. So if you're not out of it, and we're looking to see what I was doing, I'm out of it. So we talked about that. I'm, you know, again, that's why we have those restrictions on our price targets and limits and stuff like that, because if it breaks, we want to make sure that we are obviously out of those names when that does happen. So, all right, that's fine. So far, so good. I mean, not great. We'll wait to see what happens here as we're still just sort of on the Mendoza line here with Nvidia. Palantir, good. We're almost out of that. We actually have like less than 5% left on George Springer. We've already talked about that. That guy needs to be just taken out the back and put somewhere else. All right, 164, but like you said, hopefully we'll bring up some guys to fill in. Oh, is that guy we brought up an outfielder at least?
He can play the outfield.
Okay, well,
I will tell you, okay,
hopefully he will.
I'm going to say this. This kid that the Blue Jays brought up, he's my size. I saw him in spring training. His name was Relvis Martinez. When he was taking batting practice in spring training, this guy is my size. When you heard the ball off the bat, it's just different. You could close your eyes and know if he was hitting.
Okay.
He's got serious pop. Don't judge a book by its cover. I think we're going to like this. He's going to strike out a lot. Alfonso Soriano is what he reminds me of, but he can't really run that fast. So if we're going to get a short pop in here on ARM, obviously this has been my best stock, so it's a place I want to go back to because not everything else has been as clean. Where it's like just get it in, see the confirmation, add to it back when it wicks that price, no bounce off VWAP, and you see how weak it was going into the bottoms. I'd like to see VWAP back, but if we're not getting VWAP, I don't know what the play is going to be on that stock because I have to watch for a level to come in for me. What I can do, if the market's going to continue trending down, is look at something that we do like. And a couple of people have mentioned Intel to me, like, what do you think of Intel? My first thought was, I bet you we can short that if the market's weak. Well, Intel is putting up higher lows, and it's at VWAP. So A, that makes no sense to me, except for the fact that when everything else is weak, Intel's strong, and when everything else is strong, Intel's weak. So I don't think I see a short unless it's right off this $31 level, which I had marked off. I've had 31 marked for a while, so I know it was pretty irrelevant when I wasn't here on Tuesday. Just note that I marked that off before it made that breakout that I guess you guys would have traded through on that name. So 31, I'd only short that one. And it looks like I've drawn the mustard cup after getting the red. Right. Yeah, this is literally McDonald's, like the mustard yellow and the ketchup red. It's exact colors. Well, you know what? If McDonald's wants to sponsor the show, I will eat a Big Mac live on this program every single day and have no trouble with it.
Wow, no, that's a very bold statement. Yeah, I think a lot. I mean,
I'm not making this up. So I wasn't feeling that great about myself when I tore my Achilles. And the first thing I'm like, you know what? I'm eating comfort food at home. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get a McDonald's apple pie because that thing is so delicious. It is the best value on that menu as well. That McDonald's apple pie, serious value. I had that. I had a egg BLT because that's delicious. No mayo because I don't like mayo. And I also had a Big Mac because that's how I roll.
Yeah, man, that's good. Yeah, so you got to treat yourself.
Although I am going to eat way better because I'll be pretty sedentary. But I'm not shorting Intel till we get to 31. That's the next one here. As far as Apple goes, the reason why you've got to, this is why you're patient. Because you're looking for a bounce here, but if it does a blow through, you don't have to be long. Just because I like the 212 level doesn't mean I have to sit on the bid. There was nothing there. It didn't care that it was what little size was there. It didn't care. It blew through it. So we're just going to have to wait for it to make another bottom at this point. So we're only in Tesla short. It's not really trending as weakly as Apple was, but it's down 2 points. We've had to play it a couple of times. I'll look for this to maybe get down to the 180 level before we get out. And Nvidia, Nvidia's not nearly at that one. For me, the only levels after it doesn't hold these pre-market lows would be Tuesday's tops. That's 135 half into 136. So if we sit at $1 or $2 on Nvidia, if we can catch the bid, it should be pretty good. Mike Crean, what up? Member for 36 months, 3 years. Is that so? 3-year anniversary. Congratulations to you, Big Mike, out there. Deep value apple pie. I'm a big believer in value. Like if there's a couple of things that are good on the menu and I like them both, I'm going to split the difference on the one that's going to satisfy me the most out there. And that's an apple pie almost every single time as a dessert. Don't get that McFlurry. The pie is better. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, one of the longest. I think that's one of the longest. Longevity as far as their menu.
Well, obviously the regular.
Yeah, and like something that they've never really. You're right, because they've never really changed the price of those. They're always like $2 for $1.
Well, you know what my concern is with Apple right now, or not Apple, with McDonald's.
Yeah.
These price wars. So everyone's doing this like McDonald's,
We're
Wendy's.
long Dell, by the way.
Yeah, they're basically all doing this like drop the price $5 menu stuff when
Yep.
prices are going up. That's not necessarily good to get into a war. I mean, McDonald's maybe tactically can get away with it, but I'd be concerned when some of these fast food places are having to do these battles. Who can do the lowest price on their value meal? That's going to burn into some profits in there. So that could be a bit of a, I guess, headwind is the term I'm looking for.
Yeah, I think McDonald's needs. I agree with you, but I think they
Speaking
need,
of
they
headwinds,
need to do that for sure.
Your boy ran a 992.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter really until the Olympics, right? We'll see. When is that? When is
Paris
right now?
Paris is coming up soon.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if he can hold form, he might be a sneaky bet for a bronze. He won't win the gold. He might be a sneaky bronze bet, but I want to see how he runs the first round. I'm talking about the defending Olympic champion who's an Italian. In the
Right. Everyone knows the fastest people in the world are Italian.
So look, Nvidia is getting down to this level. 136, 135 half was the close. We're $1 away. That's the only place I'm looking for the dip here. And Nvidia and Anurag, we'll have a look at Nikola maybe a little later. I didn't realize it's down 22%. That could be something. I don't know why Nikola would be down 22%, to be honest with you.
Probably because.
No, I'm being facetious. I know exactly why
Nikola's
Nikola's down 22% because it's Nikola.
Yep, exactly. I mean, that sounds ridiculous, but that's probably right. I mean, EV space, not a great space to be in right now. I thought chips were a good name to be in. Oh, by the way, we're long Dell, but I don't know for how long. Dell came back into 150.
What?
So we're long Dell right now at 150. I was just looking down. I was like, okay, that just came in real quick. Like right now, Meta is still at $1. Meta's actually not falling with the market, so it looks like that's short as opposed to Neil's ARM. Meta not really doing anything. ARM and the chip names are the ones. Look, we just tried 137. It was actually pretty good. We actually got a 138 retracement bounce, but then Nvidia trying to go red, and I'm actually thinking about 136 now as a level to see if we could support. I'm going to put a bid now down into here. See, so we'll just take a little bit of a long right now. I was going to say green to red on Nvidia, as Neil just mentioned. That's down here to 135.50. So I want to just see about a 135 move. So it's going to suck right now because we're not in it. We're just in it now. If it falls down, you can see we do have stacked offers there. There was some 200s there to come through. So right now we're long Nvidia. We're 50 cents. We're at almost $1. Now back in the money to the long side. Let's take something out. We offered 94 and didn't even get filled there. So there it is. There it is. Good. So we're back in the money now. 70 cents on this Nvidia fill. Let's see if it wants to get a little bit higher, as we'll see if we can sort of lick the wounds from this recent move down, buying 136 flat. And on Dell as well. But if Dell loses 149, we're gone. I mean, we said that this was going to be good news today. It obviously was, but Dell just gave it all back. So let's be very, very careful about this. Meta now $2 in the money. So that's the name that's going to the downside. Just quickly before we go over to Adara, it looks like we are near or at the low of the day now and going lower on Dell. So yes, sir, we've got that one. And there it is. We're back into the dollar club right now. So good little trade there on Nvidia. It's only $1 if you get it out, and we just did that at 44s right there for Nvidia. So let's go. Oh, by the way, Dell, that's a $1 winner now as well, as that goes back up to the upside. So far, so good here. Let's see if the market wants to bounce with it. Greater market good, chip names bad for now. $1 in the money everywhere here. Back over to Adara.
Nice stop and turn here for IWM around this 201.40 area. It is up on the day, kind of having these lower highs, but right now we are trying to bounce a little bit at this 201.40. So let's see how the Russell 2000 fares on the day right now. Quite a few small cap runners to talk about, including MGOL, of course. This one is MGO Global, apparently agreeing to combine businesses with this Heidmar crude oil company. So interesting look here for MGOL. We also have ZAP EV, ZAPP is the ticker for this one. This one also up over 100% right now, up about 130%. Now saying they're expecting its first customer deliveries for its i300 vehicle in Q4. This one does have a smaller float here, about 1.6 million shares, and they did have a 1-to-20 reverse stock split going back to mid-April. So keep an eye on ZAPP. Last but not least, ZNTL. This one near highest of days here, up 27%. No new catalyst on this one, but looks like it's recovering from a lot of weakness on Tuesday when the FDA placed a clinical hold on studies for its treatment due to some sepsis-related deaths. So ZNTL recovering from Zentalis Pharmaceuticals recovering from some weakness on Tuesday, currently up about 27%, guys.
Oh man,
there we go.
Go ahead. I mean, we could talk about it. We're on the same trades, man. $2 in the money. Nvidia just freaking ripped. So let's go, man. We talked about trying to defend that level. We've been defending it all the way down, but that was a good one there. You can't just keep on buying every single dip. So that last one, we actually let it fall down $1 into 136, and we don't have 136 flat. We have 136.34. So the bottom of the day there was 136 basically flat. So nice recovery, but I mean, who knows for how long. And meanwhile, Dell. So let's just take a piece out on Dell right now. Bang, there it is right there. That's a face slapper. We snap it. They're like Thanos, although Dell is not losing half of its value. It's actually just put in, we just got out at 151.60. So that's $1.35 right there on our Dell dip buy, which you might be saying like, who thinks this is going to happen? We wrote down Dell 150. We talked about these levels. We also talked about supporting Nvidia at 138, which is where we're back to right now. So yeah, go ahead.
For me, I just got out of it on Nvidia. I always do this at a key price level. If it's a key support level and it breaks down like this, then it's bounced from here to there. So like if it makes a higher low or holds view up again, I want to look for another entry. Like I've been trying to just get in and get out and then make those plays like one at a time. So when we get that bounce off 36, I did try to add when it bounced even off of this 36 level, but you got to be pretty quick. So we got some on the falling knife, 37 out, and then 37.80 was the last out for me on this name. We're only in Tesla, so Nvidia marching back over to VWAP. If it can get there, then I tend to think if the market bounces, Nvidia bounces all that good stuff, then ARM should get back into VWAP, and I can play that one southbound one more time. So we're back over to only in Tesla. It might just be that Tesla is not a 180 play, and if you're shorting the 182 half to 183, it's just a play down into 181 half. Tesla trying to catch a bit of a bid. And Apple, for the first time, there it is. So Apple, there's your heavy wick bottom. There's your higher low. It's down 1%. But instead of trying to catch it as it's falling like an absolute rock, if you wait, this has been the bottom the last couple of weeks at 211.5, and this is where you're catching a bit of a bid. So Apple going to look for the long into the local bottom, but if it makes a fresh low, we just jump out of this one on AAPL. Remember, this is still a weak stock. Down 1%. The market's only down 0.15%. The NASDAQ's only down 0.15%. The ES is actually better, believe it or not.
Yeah, I think that's probably.
Yeah, the ES is up. Well, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, the ES is up.
Definitely makes sense due to the fact that Nvidia. I mean, some of these stocks are trying to pull back a little bit, and the weighting there on Nvidia is something else. So, all right, so
well, there's strength. Just to finish the thought, there is actual strength. I mean, Amazon's up 1% here.
Oh, is it?
Intel's actually up a little bit. The Dow is up 0.4%. You do have a little bit of strength. JP Morgan's kind of flat-ish. So it's not all doom and gloom. AMD is absolutely flying. Good thing we got away from that. Oh, I was going to mention Nikola reverse split is the reason why it is down 20. Not that Nikola needs a reason to be down, but they've announced a reverse split, which they need to do, obviously being a penny stock. I tend to think these things usually find bottoms when they do this. So 25 cents, 30 cents, I'm not going to get cute about it. 35 cents. If I see a big bid and it attempts to bounce off one of those, I want to try to risk under 2 cents and get some kind of a bottom here on Nikola because it's short sell restricted. Let's go to the desk. We've got Adara.
Keep an eye on the Kroger company here, guys. KR, this one actually did report earnings this morning. Initially trading a little bit positively, but falling down here. We are getting some guidance coming out of this call with the executives expecting a drop for adjusted earnings per share in Q2, similar to the decline they had in the first quarter, though they did beat analyst estimates. So not a great outlook here coming from KR executives during their call, guys.
All right. Just hearing Something about Oracle. Let me just have a quick look to see if anything's happening with Oracle right now. Wow, Oracle's at 143. Are you kidding me right now? So I might have to. I didn't even realize Oracle was up this high, and it's even pulling back. So I had no idea that Oracle's up to 146 here. We're long this name like at 108 or 109 off of some of these dip buys. Not here. The earnings report before that where we dipped into $100 and had to average it in. So it's not like this has been a huge, amazing, successful trade as of recently. But again, a hold play on Oracle. Wow, Oracle off earnings. I mean, we knew that from last week. We had saw that and talked about it here on the closing show numerous times. But Oracle, nice move upside right there for that name. Nvidia still holding $2 up. Dell right now, I just tweeted this out. And I mean, right now we're $2 in the money. I think we go higher, man. My offer on Dell is $153.50. So, I mean, I'm thinking upside on Dell. How about you? We'll wait to see where it goes. Palantir, I mean, let's go. That's another face slapper for me here. My highest P&L name will be Palantir, but it's going to be Dell. I mean, Dell right now is $250, $3 right now in the money. So we just gave you another one as we continue to ride that bull all the way to financial freedom, hopefully. Make sure that you do check this out. We do have, again, the podcast that we are all very, very proud of. And I just want to say thank you for all the comments here. And another one, bang, love the podcast. Let's go, Freedom and Wealth. Can't thank you guys enough for putting this information out. Everything so positive. Hey, Alex or Alexia, I hope this podcast does well. Well, make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. Get part of the Freedom and Wealth podcast. Get that part of your weekend sort of look right there. And again, it's on YouTube. It's not
weekend or anytime.
It
comes out on the weekend, but you can listen to it on the train on a Monday morning.
Yeah, and I was going to say it's not an overly visual. It's visually stunning.
Well, the room is great.
But
it looks good.
To your point, you can listen to it. We don't show up graphs or charts or anything like that. We're doing that on purpose, just so we can talk about it and not just sit there with our laptops and throw down.
Not to harp on it too much, I actually really like that look because there's moments I'll be on the train, we'll listen to the old one, and it's like I'm just kind of like casually, I can have my eyes closed listening.
GME halted.
But then if I have to then wake up the screen and look at a chart, it's a bit of a different feel. This one, I think you can really just be relaxed. You can be on your hammock on a Sunday, just doing whatever you do. And be patient with just one thing.
We don't have to go to Adara rate yet.
Just before we go to Adara,
the market is ripped.
The market just ripped.
Let's go.
And Apple just took out the bottom.
Let's go.
So I need to see green on this before we jump back into it. Let's respect that. AMD and ARM is the one I'm going to trade. ARM is at VWAP. I'm looking for either 171 again or a curl underneath VWAP. But let's go to Adara.
Interesting note here coming up. This is coming from Cointelegraph, talking about how there is actually this analyst online here by the name of TED Talks Macro who looks at the correlation between Bitcoin prices and Fed liquidity after these Fed meetings. So interesting note here. Apparently, looks like from this analysis that as Fed liquidity subsides, Bitcoin could have a little bit of a rebound from its recent weakness. So interesting stuff there, looking at the correlation between the response to the market after the Fed and how Bitcoin responds. So interesting look. We have Bitcoin itself here continuing on its downward trend, basically flat on the day right now with this doji candle. We push up above 66,000 initially. Now cooling back 1,000 points just below that 65,000 level. Ethereum here also pretty flat, up about 0.05%, holding on to that 3,500 level for now. Solana down about 1%, but everything else generally pretty strong, but not by much. Ripple, Dogecoin, Cardano, Shiba Inu, all up less than 1%. So bit of a more muted day here for a lot of these crypto adjacent names, guys.
Hey, thank you so much for that one. We will get into what's for lunch as soon as we get it, but right now, bang, 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 diamond handing. Look at Dell right now, $3. Let's do it. $3 in the money. $1, $2, $3 off of 150. I mean, Neil was just as surprised as I was when this name fell back in, and we'll just say thank you very much for that trade, as it is now P&L number one. And I keep saying that kind of stuff because that's the point. We just put Dell on at 10.20. And now all of a sudden, it's carrying the day for me. Like, these are the things. Oh, by the way, it's $3 winner for Dell. How many dollars is it for Nvidia? $1, 2, $3 for Nvidia. We have 2 $3 winners on right now as we speak. So we just, obviously we're gonna take a piece off here at the 50-period moving average. Yelling, the thing is you can keep on yelling all you want, but right now the market is coming back up to the upside. Your boy is long and damage is being done. We have a pretty small amount left on Meta. We'll wait to see that one. But there goes Dell, man. This one, honestly, wow. Talk about trading new names. We haven't traded Dell in a minute, and there it goes. Good job there, buying those dips for anybody that was able to sit there at 150. I mean, we put that bid in when we made the sticky note, and it just, I consider that to be lucky that it falls back in to do that. We weren't looking at it, but again, Obi said something last week. It was a Socrates line, and it was something about how luck has to do with preparation. Obi, when he's on the midday show.
Luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Right.
Or opportunity meets, preparation meets opportunity.
Right. So good one there. Thank you, Patrick and Neil, for that one, and for Obi, because
Socrates?
Apparently it was Socrates. So the idea from Obi, I don't know. Anyways, the idea there is preparation and opportunity was both met, and you could find both those things right here at Trader TV Live, both on the sticky note with exact levels written down and or listening to us when we'll tell you where our bids and offers are. So we only have 20% left of Nvidia, so sorry. 20%, 20, 40, 60, 80. So yeah, 20% left of Nvidia as it comes all the way up to the upside right now. And again, today's going to be a decent day. A big congratulations. Again, to the leaders of the pack team. We've got Brankos, we've got Obi, and we've got my guy Patrick over here as well. So a big shout out to everybody doing damage there behind us. Really proud of the floor as we keep on talking about that. Money being made everywhere now, and it's just, again, opportunity. The market today has provided a ton of opportunity, no matter where you're looking, right? Again, Meta, Dell, we looked at Chewy today, GameStop. Oh yeah, by the way, I want to talk about GameStop because GameStop, we missed it by 20 damn cents. 20 cents. We're bidding $23.50, and yes, we did it again. We had missed it on Tuesday down here when we put 23. So today I was like, you know what? I'm not going to weigh that 23 and a quarter. I'm going to weigh that 23.50. Congratulations to everybody. You got yourself another one right there as the shorts get into the gates of hell there on GameStop. Again, congratulations to all, and to all, hopefully not a good night, and let this thing start to rip higher there for GameStop.
Well, I think you want a good night.
I don't know. I mean, if you're long, I think you want, you don't necessarily want to say good night to the stock.
Okay, good night. Good night has the connotation of
it's like good night, see ya.
I understand that.
Downside.
I'm long Nikola, but I actually think it's probably going good night. But thankfully, you can day trade. And when you're day trading, it's very different from holding along in Nikola and saying, yeah, this is going to be a company that figures things out and works and all that good stuff. I don't necessarily believe in that. But I do believe it had a hammer candle. It held 35. I said 35 or 30, something like this. It bounced off 35, higher low 36.5. I'm long 37. If it breaks 36.5, I'm out. It's just going to be that simple. If it gets to VWAP, I start taking some out. If it gets to 40 and then 42, those are obvious levels. There's 40, there's 42. So we're VWAP, 40, 42 up, stop underneath this local bottom. Tesla's still figuring itself out at this 182 level. Oh, did want to go back over to, I know we keep talking about the same names over and over again, and not every big cap tech name has been covered here, but Amazon, something about the Amazon chart probably it's catching my attention, I think would catch most people's attention. The market weak, Amazon was strong at the open, was about to hold like a bull flag there, and then gave it up, holds the pre-market high breakout price, and now screaming. There isn't a red candle to be found. This is not trying to catch a low. It's already caught a bottom. I'd say it's caught at a bottom, and it's done so definitively here on Amazon. I think if the market holds up, this looks like a great long opportunity. First stop, VWAP, but just try to join the trend here on Amazon. Up 1% into a flat market, holding the 50 period on the daily. There's a lot to like. And to boot, if you go back to Monday's trade, 185 this top, even better, because that means bids over 185 can give you strength to fill in the rest of this gap. So on alert, I have not traded Amazon today. I wasn't even looking at it until I scanned some charts and found this one with a huge reversal off the bottom.
Oh, yeah, good. We've been looking at Amazon also for a little bit of time there, and good look there by Neil on AMZN. Dell is now $4.50 in the money, almost $5, and still wants to go higher. What an opportunity that was down there at 150. Look, it's only 10:37. I want to thank everybody for watching one more time. Make sure you do hit, where's my like and subscribe thing here? Like and subscribe, does this work? There it is. Don't forget to hit that like, and wow, and that subscribe. Man, the net is just like tick, 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 tick right now as we start to go higher and higher and higher right now. I mean, I just have to look to see what we're going to try to get out of here at some point. All right, so let's just regroup on Meta. We actually got part filled down there, so we just have a very, very small piece left on Meta. We really wanted 500, and then to hold something in case we did blow up or blow down to the downside, but blow up in the market maybe. That didn't happen, and we were able to take a lot of profit on very many names. All right, so that's going to be Meta. Check in on Google maybe to see. We did like that trade. Oops, Geo. What is this? NQ. We made a move back up to 176 right now for Google. You could see very, very bar-coded over the last couple days. We've talked to this one. We talked to this with Danielle Shea. We've talked to this one with a lot of traders that we had on, and we asked Danielle to pick a stock, or I asked her about a stock, and it looks like Google consolidating and trying to break out would be something definitely to look at there on the day. But for right now, we just got filled on something, did we? No, we did not. Okay, so Google, I might go short against 176 now. Still just breaking through VWAP on some excitement, but the market doesn't necessarily want to do that, and we're right here on the 20 period. 176, a possible fade out for Google. Could try it. I do favor the long. We're $4 in the money on Dell. We're $3 or $2.50 in the money on Nvidia, and 30 cents here on Palantir. So let's look for Google possibly. ARM, again, you already hit ARM, was great. But Google could be a fade at 176.
Ooh,
but
a fade.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Speaking of fade.
Do we want to go short or long? I mean, we talked about the market going red here.
Long, strong stocks, short, weak stocks.
Yeah.
I don't know. The only reason I liked Amazon was because the market's still trending down, and it kind of broke that trend down definitively, I would say. That's the only reason I'm into this one. Tesla is still working with the same area. As it keeps wicking the 180. This time I wait for it to actually wick the top. The first time I got stopped out and jumped back in. This time I wait for it to wick the top and then jump into the short. We'll play it back into VWAP as we go to Sector Watch with Adara. How are those banks doing? Kind of curious after we were watching a flat JPM.
Thanks, pretty mixed over here right now. BRKB to the downside, BAC to the upside. In general, though, we have a lot of names here gray, so pretty much flat on the day. Health technology similarly mixed, so there is a little bit more outsized weakness from names like Danaher here and Eli Lilly to the upside. A lot of these sectors are going to have that theme where we're pretty mixed to flat on the day. Retail trade, with the exception of Amazon, pretty mixed here. Consumer non-durables, producer manufacturing, commercial services, consumer services, health services, process industries. It is worth noting that we have two sectors that are notably green that are not tech-related: energy, minerals, and utilities. So keep an eye on these two sectors, guys. We also do have, of course, electronic technology to talk about. A little bit of a shift here. We have weakness in AVGO, Qualcomm, and Micron, all of which have been strong recently, and some strength in AMD and Intel, which are usually a little bit weaker. So keep an eye on a bit of a shift in electronic technology. Technology services a little bit interesting here as well. Microsoft, Netflix, Oracle, all to the downside, but a little bit of strength in Google. Recent earnings name Adobe, and CRM. ACN here, Accenture, reported this morning, so they could be on watch as well, guys.
Thing.
Oh, we just got this. All right, so we did have, it was herbed breast of chicken, if you guys remember, on Tuesday, and that was really fun. A lot of us had some fun with that today. Yeah, that's what it said. Today's a pretty simple one again, and it's appropriate. Because today there's been some chicken dinner winners around here, and today's not bad. I don't know exactly what this is glazed with. Oh, jerk. Okay, jerk glazed chicken. So it looks like
I want the jerk chicken.
Just
now.
another way of saying jerk chicken. It looks like rice with quinoa. So yeah, I like that. Along with steamed vegetables, and of course, most likely to be happening. And ever since I mentioned that I like tuna on the salad, we've been getting a heck of a lot of tuna. So I'm gonna hope for egg salad as the protein. Now, with Sharif not being here, there's at least 14 extra eggs for everybody back there. So we'll see if that does come into play at some point today for the boys behind us. And again, big congratulations to Patrick and the crew behind us, especially Obi as well. You'll be seeing very, very soon. And he'll talk about, I'm sure, his trading. So get ready for that. Dell, $4 in the money. Nvidia, $3 in the money. Palantir still trying to go, and Meta just back to flat. So what's up, Day Trader Cut?
Day Trader Cut in the house. I see Kevin Mendoza likes to win and wearing chicken dinner.
Oh, they all do.
Look, man, you had me at jerk chicken.
Yes.
Like I said, we get the salad, but I'm pretty sure I'm just going to, if I have to, I'm not going to play any sympathy cards, but I'm getting that jerk chicken. There's no question about it. Hopefully we get the high of the day here on Amazon, which is continuing to tear. So here's what's happening in the market. I just want to quickly show, here's what's happening in the market. The NASDAQ is, this is the ES, but whatever.
Did you see Apple, by the way?
Like, it's consolidating lower. I think it's because of Apple.
Yeah.
So there's that, and this is Apple heading lower, which I tried the long, and you get out when it doesn't hold, and you go into something that's actually strong. So we jumped over to Amazon. We're trying to get more here off VWAP. That's great. If it fails the high of the day, I'll jump out. But we're buying dips in Amazon. 1.5%. I don't care why it's happening. I just care that it is. And if that's going to be the case, we'll still be playing this one for the long side. Nikola. All right, so Nikola caught a bit of a bid here, but no push into VWAP. I'm at 30, I'm long 37. It hasn't really broken away from 38. VWAP's like 38.5, so we're just trying to grab that if we can. It's just an SSR bounce play. Made a higher low. They're doing a reverse split. I'm not even sure when the date is. We'll go read an article at lunch to figure out exactly when it's going to be effective. Doesn't really matter. It's just 20% down, and it held 35, and then a higher low on Nikola. So absolute moonshot to the downside, unfortunately, for them. But we've seen this story before. Sometimes you get that catalyst and it starts to bounce after the worst news comes to hit them. So if it does, great, but I'm not holding this past the 42 level anyways. That's the best, the farthest it can go where I get profit is the 42 level on Nikola. So that'll be 37 to 42 if we can grab that.
Come on, Obi. Come on, my guy. Obi over here asking me if I caught any of Nvidia. This guy's too much. All right, so yeah, just a little bit. All right, so we'll wait on that one. And again, you know, so happy to be able to have Obi when one of us needs some time off. So obviously, we publicly thank him all the time, but we'll just continue to do that. So get ready for Obi and Adara on the midday. Do we know what the topic is today? Volume, perfect.
That's a big
perfect.
one.
Volume related to level 2. We talked about it over the week that it was going to be tape reading and different indicators that are potentially not like chart based, but more time in sales, level 2, and volume, of course. Wrap it all together, and that's where you get that evil concoction of success.
The most underrated indicator might be volume. Everyone wants lines.
Yes.
Everyone wants lines on a chart.
You actually. Okay.
Volume is king.
Volume is king.
Okay.
Wow. Such great support
I think
from
volume
the
is
technical
king.
team today. We are getting absolutely amazing support from the 1s and 2s. And maybe it's Ray's day over there. I don't know what's going on with those guys, but thank you to Ramin for continuing.
Is it really?
No, it's not. Well, it's Ramin's 1-year anniversary today, so let's go. Congratulations. To Ramin. So maybe she is due for some of this. All right, we got to put in some more winning trades though to pay for this. You know what I'm saying? So let's go. All right, so no, congratulations to Ramin for surviving the board for more than, or so far, 1 year.
So far.
Big movement there, Ramin. Congratulations on that one.
Awesome.
Nice anniversary. We'll get Brendan to buy everyone Starbucks today. You like that, Ramin? Just say yes in my ear. How come everyone's scared of Brendan around here?
We can do better than Starbucks on our 1-year anniversary.
What do you want to do?
I don't know. What's that gourmet coffee place? I don't know the name of it. The one that's across. Yeah, whatever it's called, man.
Good Earth?
The one on the opposite corner. You probably know. I have no idea what it's called. There's a gourmet coffee place. I just don't know what it is.
Is that what it is?
The one across from Nvidia or something?
The one that's the Greek place. Is that the Greek place you're talking about? I don't know anything about Good Earth. Okay, so we'll do something. All right, nice move to the downside right now for the market again, and I just wanted to look at it. So we're waiting for 155 on Dell. I mean, we're playing with house money. I think if the market wants to go, that'd be great for sure. Yeah, or Tim Hortons. Yeah, we'll get that too, Glenn Smith. Don't worry about that.
Well, that's not very
obviously, we're not going to get. Well, I get Tim Hortons for convenience, not for taste. All right, so downside move for sure in Apple. Apple down 2%. They're losing some of the luster, right? We talked about what the tailwinds are, and this is why it's not on. It wasn't even on the sticky note, I don't even think, on Tuesday. So, you know, we got to let Apple try to settle itself down. It is coming into a level of 210. And I already looked at the chart. I don't think, the thing about it is there's no levels. And this is why I was mad when I said, oh my God, we missed Apple. It's because we broke this level here, 211.50. Really, that was the only level of support that we had on Apple since this huge move up. Now you have the gap all the way back into 208. So that, to me, I know we've written down 208 before, and it may finally come into play. So with only 12 minutes left here, as I am very close to losing my voice, I have to tell you, I don't know why, but that's going to be coming into play, 208 there on Apple. So I feel like, you know, we might have to let the market settle down until that comes in, because right now Apple is sort of helping this broader market get down to the downside. So I don't think you missed the party on it. The 52-week high in Apple is 220.20. I mean, again, a bunch of twos and a bunch of O's. So you give that back in a little bit now, down $10 from that level. So a lot of people like Apple. It seems like today, though, it's going the other way.
Unfortunately, that's just how it is sometimes, right?
Yep,
I like Apple too, but you got to wait for it to calm down a bit. Amazon just came out. So Amazon tried to break 186, could not do so. We'll wait for VWAP. I think the trend's pretty good on Amazon here today, so we'll work back into that one. And then Tesla went through the top. So Tesla came out as well. We'll slap the L on Tesla. It held underneath that 183 for a hot minute. All of a sudden, the market's at the lows, and it's making higher lows. I'm not going to jump into a long on Tesla, but I think it's reestablished this 182, and maybe you look at that for some strength. Anytime you see this, I mean, the level's good and all, at that 183, but anytime you see the market kind of hanging out that bottom, trying to make the reversal, you know, look for the stocks that are breaking trend as well. So Apple's not, as you can see, Tesla is, and then Amazon, I'll be looking for VWAP. It doesn't mean it's going to bounce at VWAP. 185 was a pretty good level. If it bounces off 185, I'm just as open to that as I am the 184 half. It just so happens to be VWAP. It's a line on a chart, but if the stock is trending up, if it shows me a better entry, we'll take that. And before we get to money talks, Nikola got to VWAP. Next break up, I didn't get 40s there. It went to 39.5, so I'll try to get like 39.80s or something, and then 42 on the Nikola bounce play. We're long here at the 37-cent mark. If you're just tuning in, they announced a reverse split. I believe I saw someone in the chat say the 25th is the effective date of the reverse for Nikola. Let's go to the desk.
Nice move upside here for the DXY. Brendan was talking about this as well this morning. This really trying to push up here and take out the last 3 days to the downside for the US dollar. We did have a little bit of economic data. US housing starts and building permits both lower than expected, actually to the downside, negative 5.5%. Versus 0.7% expected for housing starts month over month for May. Building permits month over month for May, negative 3.8% versus positive 0.7% expected. So interesting look there. Jobless claims slightly higher than expected, 238,000 versus the estimate of 235,000, but below the previous number of 243,000. Fedspeak to keep an eye out here throughout the day. We're going to be getting Fed's Barkin at 4 p.m., but we already got some comments from Fed's Kashkari, known for being a little bit more hawkish, today saying that he thinks it'll likely take a year or two to get inflation back down to 2%. And it might be a little bit too high with regards to wage growth to achieve 2% inflation currently. So just keep an eye on some of that Fed speak and those updates there. We also do have worth noting, if you're looking for some small caps, BTTR is on the Amex. This could be an interesting one. Looks like it's halted again here. Initially was a news halt, then opened up. They announced that they're going to retire up to $10.4 million of debt obligations. This one's worth noting because it has a market cap of around $4 million and a float of about 480,000 shares. 9% of that's going to be short float, so definitely keep an eye on BTTR if you're looking for a small cap, guys.
All right, we have good news for everybody that is a fan of the professor, because the professor is in the building right now. So he will be there. Obi, he'll still probably make an appearance on the midday, but the professor will take his seat back, and Obi will go back over there and start to clean up a little bit on his own account. So thanks, Obi, for stepping up. And I just said that, you know, he always does. So you will be getting the professor, I think, to start. He just came in, he logged in, he's getting warmed up now. So yeah, I think so too. And if not, we can hold it for a minute or whatever.
Yeah, we're good.
Adara's locked and loaded as well. So
just
yeah, I just want to say one thing because it could
go
break.
ahead.
I do want to try Apple short 210. So I don't know if it's going to be for very long periods of time. I don't have the stop in yet because not two stops can trigger at the same time. So I'm going to wait for 210 to break, then go short, then put in a stop only like 30 cents higher. So I know that might not be enough, but if it breaks with momentum, it's kind of like the same thing that happened with Nvidia. And we still have 7 minutes, so I will throw this back to Neil. But, right into here when Nvidia broke that 138, it never came back. Until eventually it did, where it got screaming. But it went all the way down into 136. So, if we can break and get this kind of an action, that's what I'm looking for. A quick move down on Apple, and then we'll cover it. So I just wanted to say that in case you do see Apple get flashed in there. It probably, here, I'll call it back up, won't be for a long time. I would rather just take the short than the long. So I do think that the long at 210 is equally as opportunistic as long as you punch out. So you could go long now 210.30 with a 30-cent stop. I'm doing the other way around. I'm going to try to go through 210 with a 30-cent stop the other way. So it's just a matter of trying to trade Apple, off of these levels. And then one more reload there was Dell. Dell came back to 150 again.
So I believe we might have missed this.
We did, and I lost it in the chat.
Okay, so apologies. And I want to give a shout out to Sheely Hale, appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. You're amazing. All the viewers are amazing. We love you all. Sometimes things get a little bit hectic. You're trading this and that. Sure. You're looking for opportunities, and we might miss it. And we never do that on purpose. And thank you to Bears versus Bulls for always keeping us on track. I saw a comment in there. I was also gonna point out someone saying we don't deserve OB. You're right. I think and the thing about it is, when you've got good people and when you've got good friends, good colleagues, you want to make sure you do appreciate them all the time. We're blessed here to have.
Yeah, I think we appreciate. I think we deserve
down
it.
the line, and we recognize Obi, he's reliable in a way that just say it's. I'm not even sure I could do it justice, right? Like you message him, he's like, yeah, I got your back right away. Good dude. And I think one of the things that we haven't talked about AMD, and I've said this before. It's okay to be wrong. It is not okay in the trading game to stay wrong. That's probably also true when you're arguing with your significant other, right? Like it's okay to be wrong. You don't want to stay wrong too long. You're going to get in trouble. But we got away from this when it broke out. I was playing off the week's high, and it broke it. And thankfully, we just got out of the trade. Now, sometimes you're going to work your way into a reversal. Long AMD's now up 7%. And that could easily just be your worst stock if I try to fight it. But we took our shot at it off the open. Okay. But it's absolutely flying in. I guess Apple's not going to break the 210.
Yeah, it looked like a good trade the other way, obviously.
Yeah, like Apple bounced off 210 in here. Still, look, man, it's still underneath this recent support of 211.15. Like, that's the one place 211.5. That's the one place I tried the long. So unless it's getting back above 211.5, I think it can still be in some trouble for Apple. Sometimes it's more of a short the pop kind of play, but I want to go back over to Amazon. With only 4 minutes to go, I'm only in that nickel trade. Amazon doesn't really dip on that pull off the highs. Still looking for VWAP in there. We took one trade, bounce off VWAP. We'd love to get it again. But this might be like a consolidation up here off 185.5, how strong this move has been. So good look here on Amazon. I haven't found my way back into the long, but this is something that I will want off of VWAP. Nikola kind of rejecting VWAP in here. It didn't get to 40, so I'll respect this 39.5 or whatever it is, and just get some out in front of 39.5 if that's where the top is going to be. Nvidia, higher lows as well. So it's not above VWAP, but hey, that's a wipeout bottom if I've seen one. Higher low. If it starts holding the 139 again, that was a pretty good level right off the bat at the open. I think you got to be looking for the longs as a default, with the exception of maybe Apple, I would say, from what I can see.
Yeah, we just reloaded on Dell, so we haven't hit this yet. Although we've had a couple of reloads, we're now $1 in the money on the reload. But there it is. It just faded again. So it went up there. It ticked up to 151.30, 151.21. So now I'm waiting there at 151.25. To see if we can get that, as here it comes pulling back a little bit. We got to watch out for Dell. We already have our stop in breaking 149. Like I said, we don't want to play with we want to play with house money, which is what we're doing, but we still want to give back what we've already made there on Dell. And so I honestly went to the 200 period. You guys know we were waiting at 155 VWAP, but it looks like next time if we get to 154, we should consider for sure taking a piece out there on that one. So far so good here. As Dell, we're at 151.25, one little push higher, and you know we'll get that. So yeah, we're looking for it. Dell right now trying to make that move back up. Nvidia, nice call, trying to hold 139. It looks like that will have some work to do. Apple, Neil mentioned that. I want to talk about it too because we did bounce off 210. We gave you that trade. It's just I didn't. I was looking for the short. We mentioned that if you wanted the long on Apple, it was there at 210.30 when we talked about it. And quite obviously, 30 cents worth of risk to make 80, well worth it there if you did take any of that advice. So that's a good one. Come on, Dell, we're close. Oh, new position alert, props it up again. Look, again, we're 50 cents in the money on Meta, but I'm going to try to play this up to the 200 period moving average and see if we hold that, then get out at 503. So the trade's pretty simple here for Meta. Again, good trade early, came back and filled us. The market on its way, bouncing off 20,100. Looks like it wants to get to VWAP. So this trade will average it back at 502 change, but then get out at 503. If we're wrong, we're wrong. We have a lot of stock that can moon here. We've got Dell that can go. We've got Palantir that can go. We've got Nvidia. So lots of opportunity here. Let's just make sure that, you know, we capture profit where profit lies. So Dell, take the dollar. Meta, take some profit if it comes back into the 50 period at 501. Looking to get more short here on Meta.
Ooh, Meta short. I mean, sometimes it's relatively weak. You got to play it. Someone's saying get into Nvidia. Either it breaks this flag. I feel the same way about Nvidia as I do about Amazon. If it's going to hold this consolidation, either it breaks it to get in, or I get the dip at that previous high. So I need to get 60s here on Amazon, or it has to break out the top. I don't want to do anything else. I feel the same way about Nvidia. Like either I get 138 has for the consolidation play, or it just simply breaks out of this consolidation and takes out this local high. It's one or the other. You know, if you trade it right in the middle of the range, I'm not really interested in doing that. When we did, I can cancel these bids down here, 136. I don't think we get that one again. But we've had the bounces for myself and taken the profit where it did lie. So I want to be patient. It is 11 o'clock, and as mentioned, big shout out. Obi was ready, and then we actually had Sharif jump on in. He's ready and locked and loaded to go. It is learn to trade, and one of the most important indicators out there is volume. And Adara and Sharif are going to cover everything that is volume in the level 2 for you guys. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. But for now, learn to trade. Volume.
Wow.
I love our intro music. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as